Okay, what is all this? So why, I wonder if, I think it is live now. I'm gonna check the website and see if anybody's in the chat room. I didn't really tell anybody about this, but um I did tell like a couple West Coast people that I know. The rest of the world is probably sleeping, right? Even though nobody's going to work, so it's not like people need to go to
Yeah.
bed early.
Right?
So let's make sure that we're going live.
It says live.
Yay, I could
Mushroom
see
live
us.
streaming
Are you on the
service.
website?
Not yet. Check it out.
Well, yeah. So if you go to the website, you can, it's the video player on the right side. We're just learning how to do video right now.
So it's
So
zoom.com?
no, go to Lenny Melnick Fantasy. I'll put a link in here somehow. Just a second. And now we're changing. We're not going to have Zoom anymore. In fact, I was like ready to tell you guys that we were going to do it on StreamYard, but I just changed my mind because it's just ridiculous trying to explain new shit to people. You know what I mean? Here's the chat.
Everybody has their own different levels.
Yes, totally. And nobody really likes to do that on the spur of the moment. I wouldn't like it that much either, like having to. Can you guys see that?
I can see you on my phone, but I can't see.
Here, let me find it here. So chat.
I'm going to LennyMelnick.com.
Lenny Melnick
You're going to go to the
FantasySports.com.
toolbar. That's not
Thank
going to
you.
be good.
Got it.
Click on the second link. Don't click on the first.
I'm going to it.
I got to get rid of this one because I don't know if it'll take you to my admin area or what. Nice to see you, dude.
Good to see you.
Nick, listen to me. Is that your brother or what? Baby baseball.
That's funny. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed what he was saying.
That guy looks just like you, and literally his voice sounds like yours.
Yeah,
and when
I think I'm more pretty.
Well, I'll give you that totally. He's like the ugly younger brother.
All right, cool. Yes, he's my ugly stepbrother. Absolutely, I agree. That
he
guy
loves the Giants, though, dude.
Loves and such great information. And I'm pissed because the guy that I was rooting for because of what I saw on his show, Giants didn't get him. They got the catcher. And Devo said, well, maybe they'll put him to third base. And so I can applaud that move then because I was like, we got Joey Bart. Why do we need a catcher?
You always go for the best player available, especially when you only got 5 rounds.
Well, so, okay, let's start there then. Let's talk about the GOAT. Let me just explain to people that might be listening that we did this one draft and it was 10 teams and we picked players in a snake style draft from 1984 till now current. And if you pick a player, then that's your player. Nobody else gets to pick him, but you have to choose a year to go with them. So you get the stats for that year. And when the draft is over, the league is over, and because the stats are already there. So I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be, I work with spreadsheets all the time. I have literally like made my own draft software where I could like punch in people and see where I'm at according to my own projections. I thought nobody's going to be able to beat me because I can keep track of everything. But then it's not about finding the guys that are going to give you the best stats. It's finding the right time to draft them, right? I mean, so I guess my first question is, what was your strategy going in? Like keeping track of batting average, which is a bad idea. That was just a given that I look back and I say to myself, that's obvious because so many good hitters or fantasy hitters that hit for statistics and not for batting average, that really makes a difference. I was so upset that I was in first place and then the next week I was in last place, okay? And my batting average was like 300 and it was not good enough. I was last in batting average and I thought to
second
myself,
to last, I think.
So
Nick is the only one that had a batting average less than 300.
Which I identified week 3, the beginning of week 3, when I was just one ahead of Andrea. And I thought, wait a minute, how far am I behind in all these other categories?
You're
and who
like
cares
right
about
there.
this category and then I was going to get Giancarlo Stanton, and Dave got him the exact same right I was going to get Stanton for those 58 bombs.
Great year he had that year. So the first 2 weeks, though, I was pretty happy I was in first, but I like wasn't strutting around or anything. And then the next week I was in last place, and I'm like, holy shit. So my mind thinks like my solution, which if I would have thought of dropping batting average right then and said, forget you batting average, then your whole world opens up to players that you didn't even consider before. And my mind didn't think of that. Of course, it thought of a way to that I was going to draft catchers like right away, because I know that catchers have the worst batting average, and people are going to have to draft a catcher eventually. And there's only so many catchers with 300 batting average. That was my theory. Like, that's how I'm going to make up for the batting average thing. I wish I would have not, I wish that wouldn't have been my out, but that was. And I thought I was so much smarter than everybody because I was drafting the starting pitchers first. I was going to get these guys that qualified at starter with a great ERA and whip, and that's how I was going to win. And that did not happen for me. Steve and you guys both came in second, like right second. I came in seventh. So, and I'm telling you right now, I was counting up. I mean, I know I'm going so many subjects. Let's talk about one subject at a time. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Let
Yeah,
me start,
Steve.
Nick. I picked probably a different strategy than a lot of other teams did. I knew that the batting categories, there are 4 categories that are numbers and one that is a ratio. So I went with the concept of what I call the accum. I went for the players that had the most numbers, the most counting statistics across the board. So that's why I picked Larry Walker, number 2 player
Great.
overall.
Fine, that's fine. Larry Walker is going to fit in, but like when you say you took the best counting stats, the fact that there's 5 categories, it's not
I
clear
only
to me
counted
which.
the 4 counting ones and then used the average on a separate view.
Did you care about getting stolen bases? And my theory was that I was not going to go under. If a guy, I was going to try to draft my whole team with runs and RBIs above 100 for every player. Like I was determined to do that. And I think I did a good job because I saw people drafting, you know, guys that might have stole 70 bases, but their RBIs are like 50.
11.
And I'm like, that's not going to cut it. You need like 140. Can you hear me good? Because I had my microphone all the way up.
You had the microphone up.
You could still fucking hear me good. I know.
Yeah, no, that was my strategy too. The first guy that I didn't do well on in that regards was Jonathan Villar. But again, my strategy was, look, all of these middle infielders here, I could gain 8 points at stolen bases. So I got Villar to give me some power, to give me decent runs, and to give me mediocre RBIs because I didn't care about average anymore. However, that came to bite me in the ass in the end. And so I was trying to take Jonathan Villar for a middle infielder because 9 other teams needed middle infielders. And I wanted to get that speed from that position. So that's why I grabbed him then.
Did the guy that drafted first, whoever that was, did they
Rob.
finish near the top?
I'm looking at the standings, Rob, which are now on the internet.
To me, I think that's a definite advantage to be the very last guy that gets to pick and the very first guy that gets to pick.
Yeah. As I say, Ernie beat me on the very last pick by 2 runs scored.
Ernie was really taking a strategy of drafting relievers. He was all about the relief pitcher. And I felt like it was so important to leave yourself with open availability at the end. So like 1 DH and 1 just regular pitcher, anything you want. It doesn't matter if it's a starter or a reliever. But the people that drafted all relievers first, I'm like, I'll catch you, no problem. Because every time you have to draft a starting pitcher, your ERA and your whip is going up.
Exactly. And that's why I went after
That was my
all
strategy.
the savers to begin with and came out number 1 in saves and was trying not to get hurt by the starting pitchers' ERAs ratios.
Do we learn in this type of draft some things that you can use in regular fantasy? And one of them is the idea of punting categories. And
Yeah.
I never go into a draft thinking I'm going to punt categories. I just think that it's a bad way to go into something, thinking that you're just going to, but I wonder with 3 categories, if you could punt a category to win, literally punt to win, which would be like stolen bases. I finished first in stolen bases, by the way. That was no problem. You could catch up with
Yeah,
one player. You can get
That's how I
75 steals.
lost. That's how I lost because
of
you
me?
took Figgins. You took
Oh, I'm
Figgins,
sorry.
and Richard took a relief pitcher and not a starting pitcher. I would have drafted the 20. All I needed to do was pass Devo. Devo, you picked right before me. I had to draft, and who would have thought that I would have got a 11 win, 16 save guy at any point in this draft? That guy would have never been on my radar for only 11 wins and 16 saves. That shows I screwed up somewhere along the lines, that those stats were going to provide me just a little bit to get over the hump in 2 different areas.
Okay, we have somebody waiting. Look at this. Administrator's the name. What does that mean? I'm like scared to let people in that I don't know, because
Well-
what happens.
Well,
People
let's
are
see.
like,
Let's see, because we're the type of
it
people.
says
Bring it.
administrator, dude. This is a
Bring it.
fucking
Well,
okay.
because mine was a Happy Friday because it was logged in from my previous Zoom that I had with my job.
It says administrator.
Yeah,
It's a little
because
sketchy, so just be prepared.
he's probably administrator when he logs into Zoom for his other jobs.
Hi, administrator. Hi.
What's up, Rob? How you doing?
You're not a troll. Can you see us? Okay, you have to unmute. I have to unmute you or unmute. Oh, down at the bottom, you'll see video. Let me see. Administrator. I see video for sure. Can you see us? I don't think he can hear us. Unmute. I unmuted you.
No, he's muted still.
Down
There
at the
he is.
bottom.
Yeah, he's
Hi,
on.
Rob.
Hello,
Hey, what's up,
Hi.
Rob?
what's going
There
on?
it is.
Good to see you. Wish she thought you were a troll because it's administrator, and I let her know that if our Zoom names sometimes are different for other reasons we use Zoom. So I said, let him in and see what happens.
Okay,
Rob
whatever
is,
it
Rob is
is.
a troll anywhere you go.
Rob, we were
Ha
just
ha
talking
ha.
about the fact that you got so our friend Malpal from the Malpal, Nick.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's here. Nice to see you. And he's in San Diego, so he's on the same time
sweet.
zone.
What's up,
But-
Malpal?
This draft, and I would try to explain this draft. I don't know if you guys heard. I did fit it into our show several times talking about this GOAT league that we're in. And this is the first year, but we drafted players. And once the draft is over, the league is over. I loved that part of it. I really did have a good time. I had a lot of adrenaline, a lot of nerves. Like every time it was my turn to pick, it was like very exciting for me and nerve-wracking trying to keep up with everybody's picks, but whatever it is, it was very fun. And there's no maintenance in this thing. And it does come down to the very last pick. And Rob, you were picking first, right? So I was
Yeah.
saying to myself, I don't like the fact that 2 people get to pick after me and then it's over, because I want to know, like, at the last round, what I need to do to get points right now. And nobody else could take them away from me at this point.
Right.
So how did it feel being the last and the first to draft in this league? Do you feel like
Honestly, ouch. Well, I knew who I was going to pick with the first pick,
right?
because
Okay.
I mean, historically, Bonds had one of the biggest years offensively,
Yeah.
So I think it was a clear-cut choice. Unfortunately for me, I don't think I was keeping track of the stats like a lot of people were.
Luis Castillo.
Well, and that was the thing. I was in the backyard of my buddy's house, and I just saw the name, and I was like, going, yeah, whatever. He's got a bunch of steals, but yeah, apparently he didn't have any RBIs either. So, but yeah, I
Okay.
mean, like, a lot of people had their lists, and I wasn't at a computer. And I think that's kind of one of those things where, it was hard to kind
Definitely.
One
200
time,
runs,
the second
17
week,
RBI.
of, no.
dude, okay, listen to me, Nick Ski. That's what we call him on Facebook, but his name is Rot here. Like, he's got all kinds of names. But the second week, it was the second week, and we record our serious show at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. And so by the time noon comes around, which is 3 o'clock my time, noon your time, I was taking a nap. I kept forgetting that I had to do this thing and didn't prepare at all. And I'm downstairs in the reclining chair napping. Lenny's like, dude, it's your turn in the draft. And I don't wake up well anyway. Okay. But I was like freaking out. I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. I'm like so annoyed at holding people up because it's rude when people are waiting for you and you're just not there. I don't know any of you guys, but
we're used to that from Nick. So
I started texting Nick on Facebook. Okay. I started telling him, I can't do this. I just woke up, blah, blah, blah. Like nobody was even, I don't think anybody was even really that stressed out about it besides me. But by the time
I was. And
you were?
I was. And the reason he says it, Andre, is because at the draft, I'm the guy who's okay. So-and-so going for $2.50, going once, going twice. $2.60, and I will wait until the last second.
And he doesn't even like the player.
And I also bring. Oh yeah, hey, in Auto League, I'm telling you, I drafted Tyler O'Neill at like some ridiculous amount.
It's Otto, not Otto. It's Otto.
And he says I'm done. And then I go back and look at the players that I could have got still for $2. I'm telling you.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the GOAT to Google. Like, I mean, I have my own GOAT spreadsheet that I kept. And Steve, I mean, really good job on keeping the statistics and stuff. It was very helpful. Even though, of course, every time there was a new one, I could not figure out where Gio Gonzalez fit in until literally the last second.
And everybody missed Derek Jeter being picked also. Don't worry about it.
So we all can't, our human brains don't do that very good, but I loved the draft. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing every week you did 5 rounds. I mean, I would have been totally great with going through the week because none of us had anything to do. So like, actually, if you're ready to draft and it's your turn, bring it on,
There was a reason behind me doing 5 rounds only.
Why?
And that was to allow people to have another life.
Nobody has a life in COVID, okay?
I do.
No, you don't.
One of us delivers mail, and he was a very good sport about it. Yes.
But it was waiting for everybody. It was a 7-hour ordeal for me every Saturday. So you might have been taking a nap, but I'm waiting for the other ones to put their bids in.
Well, what if you just let's just say for future, maybe you cut that work down instead of having to do it all on the same day. You could do it throughout the week. If somebody makes a pick,
you're going to get to know Devo real quick, Andrea.
No, that's fine. We should all get to know each.
I have already started building the website. Currently, GOAT 1 reports are up on the internet.
Okay, I'm gonna put this stuff.
And if you go to goatbaseball.com/reports, you can see the final reports.
I have okay, really? All right. So let's do this. I'm going to put this link in the chat room just in case anybody wants to look at it's very nice. The reports up on the website? Okay, so let me put it in chat. What's up? Okay, Rottweiler, see you. So you see we're doing video now, and I expect you to be doing some podcasts soon. You could just get on there in the middle of the night or whatever, and it's going out to Facebook now, going out to YouTube, whatever. So you know what I mean?
Pretty soon, I'm going to promote my real estate, my realtor.
Do it. What better way?
Social
media.
You know that
Lenny started playing fantasy because it was helping him get customers in his box business. That's why he started playing fantasy. Lenny. So And you know who their sponsor was? Did he tell you when we were having dinner that day who Lenny got to sponsor his radio show? Roto Rooter. Rooter.
How appropriate.
Yes. For rotisserie baseball, he got Roto Rooter. And that was when he was on WGGB on AM radio.
Yep. This
That's
league's
what
been
this-
around. RFBL league has been around since what year, Devo? 1984?
1984. That's why we started GOAT 1, starting at 84.
Okay, at 84 they started GOAT 1. You've been in, and everybody in this entire league that we just did is in this 1984 league but me, right?
Has been at some point.
Okay, right. I don't know, but I loved it. I thought it was a fun time. I was not what would you have done different starting with Rob? Because Rob drafted first and he was ahead several weeks. I know for sure that you were leading the way at least 2 weeks. You were like right up there at the top. So what was your strategy and where did it fall apart for you?
It fell apart when I wasn't home. I wasn't like keeping too close. I wasn't looking at a list or keeping track of anything.
So, but what do you think that you could, like, if you would have been home, what would you have looked at and what would you have done different?
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have done anything different because I know it got pretty, I knew it was going to get a little bit tighter at the end, but I just wasn't, I guess, diligent in keeping track of the stacks and everything. I think I just kind of got a little complacent on the categories that I was leading in and just got a little too comfortable with those categories.
They
But
can
also
lie.
knowing, when you have somebody like Richard, who's a fucking, I'm sorry, can I cuss
No,
on
you're allowed to
you?
curse.
Oh yeah, you'll get to know Andrea real quick too.
who's a numbers guy, sitting at home with all the stats and all his little charts. Because if you knew Richard, he charts everything.
He's a tax man.
binders. He
Okay,
has
so-
binders full of every transaction that he's ever made in FBL
Oh, geez.
on a
Okay.
shelf in a binder.
You're kidding me.
Oh no! I'm
So-
not kidding you.
You failed to add one major qualification there, Rob. He does it all by pencil.
Yes.
I knew it. That's what I was
Yes.
just going to say. I was
He
just
doesn't have a
about to
smartphone.
Oh, so this something like this and the format that was done in, we were flies to the web for the tweet.
Does he know how to use Excel though? Does he know how to use these? I mean, this is not an easy numbers game to try to put, but let me tell you what, when I first met Lenny, he was in 2 different only leagues and these guys did everything by hand. They did not want you using the internet at all when you came into the draft room. He wouldn't even give me the password to his internet at his house when we did a draft at his house. He was like, no, I don't want you using the internet. So I'm not going to, I'm
Well,
like,
I miss the days of fantasy before the internet. I'll tell you.
but they
that
kept
right
track
now.
of every pick, every dollar value, but they didn't keep track of stats. So they had no way of knowing like exactly where they fit in because you can only keep so much track on paper.
Right.
With the spreadsheet stuff, most of the drafts I would be sitting there finishing up this, I would be putting in formulas to calculate, and I had a sheet for everybody and everybody had their own sheet. Every time they drafted a player, I would put their stats in there and it would add it up and then I would know exactly where I'm at in the standings. And I mean, I had a strategy. I don't know for sure that it worked because the starting pitcher strategy that I took on was that I was going to make sure that I took care of the ERA and whip. And even though it was looking like it was a little higher than the other guys who were all drafting closers or relievers, I knew that there's so many relievers that have great ERA and whip. And I was able to draft. I never even heard of Icorn.
Oh,
Or ICOP. Who is it?
Ihorn. Mark Ihorn, 1986.
Whatever it was, Ernie showed me the way on that because I did not know. And then I definitely learned a lot about some players that I never really paid attention to, like some that are no-namers that you would just be like, who is that guy drafting,
Mark
Drafting,
Ihorn was a Devo in 1986, and I knew all about him, and I wanted him, but I just couldn't pick him.
Why didn't you? Why?
I needed the starting pitching and I wanted to get a 50 saver guy at the time.
There were so many 50 save guys. There's not so many.
But bad ratios also.
But he wasn't. Well, he was an anything pitcher. You could get him as a reliever, but not a starter. But
True.
he had like 15 wins that year, didn't he?
14 wins, 10 saves with whip and ERA around 1 and a
Did it.
strikeout over.
Lenny's trying to shut my door because I'm too loud. I'll get
Lenny!
it.
Nick changed his shirt.
It's
do you
hot. I was wearing a sweatshirt and it got warm in here all of a sudden.
Can you see? I have all kinds of backgrounds. So, Steve, you said you kept the same. Hold on a second. You guys talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
Do you love Andrea's screen off image?
Yes, I saw it. 420.
How you doing? How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, man.
Love the records, man. I see your records all the time, but I didn't know you had such a vast collection in order like a record store. This is awesome.
Yeah, I took the quarantine as an opportunity to actually I cataloged everything for the insurance people.
Sweet. That is awesome.
Yeah,
Love it.
but Devo's got quite the collection too, I hear.
Yeah, but it
That's
doesn't look
great.
like that though.
No. What, you got about 600 there?
I got well, I had at one point probably 2,500, and then I weeded it out. I got rid of a lot of kind of dollar bin stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah. So this is probably the cream of the crop, but there's about almost 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you play them every day?
No, not really. But yeah.
Or are you playing CDs?
No, I play records. I just hooked up a CD player. So yeah.
So what's your stylus? What's your turntable? What brand?
Behind me, this is my big system. So I got a Carver amp, from the 80s. The turntable's a Riga, which is from England.
You don't have the techniques.
The 1200. No, this is better than the 1200. Well, no, actually, 1200s are really nice. They're pretty expensive. I think they're just expensive by name.
Absolutely.
Are those all albums that you have behind you and those
Yes.
big old school speakers?
Yeah.
So we're doing a draft right now. We're doing a draft as we speak for serious. It's football and baseball. It's a full football team and a full baseball team and 6 bench players.
So you drafted Michael Jordan and
No. It's all
well-
for like this coming season. So like it's a real league. So we're drafting 2020 footballers and 2020 baseballers and 6 bench spots.
I just put $25 on a 250 to 1 because Tony right now is in Las Vegas. And I had him put a $25 pick in for me that the Giants are going to win the World Series this year at a 250 to 1 ratio.
Don't see that's stupid. You're betting with your stupid heart. Don't
Little
do
small
that.
ball
That's
is going to win it all because we got we got our good
wait, Wilmer
management now.
Flores. Who the hell do you have? Wilmer Flores.
We have Wilmer Flores and we have Farhan Zaidi. We have this other hot shot, young up and coming GM. I mean, we've got the tools to really play ball. And Wilmer
The thing
Flores
is, you
looked
don't.
pretty
You
damn
just-
good in Arizona for a few
look.
games.
Let's be honest. You don't have a chance because you don't have any pitching.
I
And
bet
that's
you
the
that
sad
we make
truth.
it. I bet you that we make it with Derek Rodriguez being our best pitcher.
Tim Lincecum. What happened to Tim Lincecum?
You won't believe this. I'm going to
He-
share this. Listen. I'm going to share this with you guys really fast. I have a way that I'm probably going to be able to befriend Tim Lincecum very locally in a way. I won't share with you guys how because my wife would kill me. But
I have no
Is that your
doubt
hairdo?
that once you meet him,
This
you
is
will
a
be
plot.
his best friend. He's a
Every-
nice.
Selling
You know,
weed?
he was born in Washington, and he's a weed smoker. Is that what? No, I refuse to think that it was weed because I have not been able to ever explain Tim Lincecum to anybody, including myself, who really liked him a lot, and just all of a sudden one day he wasn't good.
And
What-
then
how
he
does this happen?
disappeared. And he disappeared for the
You
last couple of
see
years.
things like you
He
start to
disappeared because
see.
they made him stop smoking weed.
I don't think that's true. A lot of times it's that a pitcher is aging and they don't have the same velocity, and they don't have the same whatever. They need to learn movement then, and they adjust. If a pitcher is going to age well, they adjust. Lincecum, I have to brush it off to the fact that he didn't adjust. But here's the problem. Usually, like it just keeps going over time. It's slowly but surely you lose velocity and you lose mostly velocity. Then you have to either start pitching different and using other things, or you just become irrelevant. But none of that happened with Lincecum. Like one day he was good, the next day he stunk for the rest of his career, even though he still doesn't stink. But that guy was what?
2 times Cy Young.
Nobody questions what happened to Lincecum. I say there's some.
I wasn't supposed to even say what I just said to you guys
No
in terms
problem.
of how the connection
tell your
I have
lady.
with somebody he may be seeing or not. I'm just saying, like in the Bay Area, I'm not going to say anything else further if this is live. I plead the fifth at this point, and I will share with everybody at some point when it happens, if it happens.
I got to meet you and your wife. I loved it. It was a fun
It was
time.
awesome.
I
And
had
Andrea,
Bill's
come out to
palsy.
California again, please. Please come out and visit again, even if you just take a plane flight. Come out.
My family lives there. I was born and raised there. So you'll
Where?
and the lady,
What
you
city?
married such a lovely woman. She was so much fun to hang around, okay? And it was just good times. So you could never even try to possibly make her look bad in one of these Zoom meetings. Because
Oh, no.
I know you
think-
would never anyway.
I think the whole goal, that's what's cool about the people that you're going to meet as far as FBL. We lost 3 people who I am more than happy losing, and I don't even talk to any of them anymore. The 3 people that we lost, I used to be super cool with, not only FBL, but outside FBL. I have no connections with those individuals anymore. And it's for a reason that's not fantasy related. It's just who people are. And that says something huge about these individuals. The people in FBL now, Andre, if you ever were to join, amazing group of people, the best people I could ever be around.
Right. But I'm afraid that I would be politically I
You
probably
wouldn't.
don't align at all.
I don't align, but everybody's
There's no
accepting.
mob, dude, that I know. Like what? But I don't like hearing that you lose people. That we live in a world where you can't even
We didn't
literally.
lose
If
anybody.
you're patriotic and love your country, then you are all these horrible things. It's not okay for me.
We didn't lose anybody. We gained a respectable league 100% through. We gained something. We didn't lose anything.
Okay, but I just want to make sure that no political belief system is gonna
In
make
FBL
us
now,
not friends.
in FBL now, it never would.
Okay,
The way
good.
FBL is now, it never would. And the way everybody is now, it never would, because we all believe so many different things, both in fantasy baseball. It's funny how our fantasy baseball perspectives, some of our perspectives are go with the flow, see what happens. Some of our perspectives is let me really look at things and try to analyze the future and be mind readers of what's going to happen in the future, and be psychics, which isn't effective all the time. And some of us are straight to the point. These are the guys I want. I'm going to get these guys, and we're fixed mindset. I think that it's about having a fixed mindset in general or having a growth mindset. And I think that everybody has this growth mindset, especially as developing one. Those that have a sense of camaraderie and understanding and flexibility, understanding that everybody is allowed to have their unique perspectives. It shouldn't divide us just because we feel a certain way, so long as those views aren't in an extreme way that has a negative impact on society.
How about this? Okay. How about this one? So all of a sudden one day on Twitter, it pops up that fantasy baseball or fantasy sports, maybe. I think it was fantasy sports, but let's just be honest. Fantasy baseball is probably the worst offender of all of the sports because it is a lot of white guys. All the other sports have decent number of black guys, but I'm so sorry. If you want to stop fucking racism, then quit making everything about race all the time. And nobody, but so it comes out that it's 90% white and it's 80% men. And I just can't even get myself out there enough to be like, I never fucking I'm the token woman. Nobody can even fire me. I seriously, I'm taking advantage of your stupid ass fucking social justice because you are making it so that instead of being racist or discriminating against one person, now you're being discriminated. Now you're discriminating another person. So what's with all this discrimination? Like, why do we have to say Black Lives Matter all the time? Nobody is telling them that they don't matter. Like,
The police
I
are.
understand that people are racist, but people also are, they don't like people with red hair or they fucking don't like the way you painted your house, whatever. It's maybe you guys aren't a good fit, you know what I mean? But like I've never seen it in the fantasy industry, and it bothers me that then Brent Hershey, who owns Baseball HQ, bought it from Ron Chandler. Brent Hershey is putting out an article about white privilege, saying that he's so sorry that he has white privilege. I'm not apologizing for being white because I didn't I'm sorry. And I know it's like just white people don't understand because they're privileged. Everything's privileged. No, I mean, guess what? If you were a person of color, you got a free ride to school. You got a scholarship. If you were not of color, you had to pay and get a loan. I have never gotten anything from the government for free for being white. I have never been, and maybe in some world that does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I've never seen it in fantasy. All I've ever seen it is open doors for me. So
And
when
I think
he
that's
is
what's funny
saying,
about fantasy, Andrea. I think that's what's funny about fantasy is that it's interesting when people in any realm of life, people want to put a twist on anything. But in fantasy, right? I know that in FBL, anybody that has experience and is able to come in.
nobody cares what color of
Nobody
skin.
cares.
None of
It's
us,
all
like
good.
Brent Hershey says he's going to make his platform more available to writers and hiring people of underprivileged. And it's offensive to the people that have been paying for his product for the last 20 years. Like we've been paying for going to events. They're not cheap either. So if he's selling a product and he thinks that if that's a fair price, then all these people, all these white people that have been, supporting you for the last 20 years, you're like, we're going to make it more available. You're going to hire somebody because they're have colored skin. That's racism. That's like exactly what you're trying to not have. So don't apologize for something that you don't do wrong. Like, I'm sorry, Brent putting out this white privilege thing about how he gets to choose whether he gets to write about Rafael Devers or if he has to, Black communities don't get that opportunity. But that's the thing. What's really helping out the underprivileged? It's jobs. It's people they want to go to work and support their families. So that's the best way to get them out of poverty.
And what I can say is definitely a California point of view, New York point of view is definitely going to be far different than the reality of middle America and how things are. And we're so fortunate. You drove through the United States.
Middle America rules, dude. They crush us in every
let's take it back to fantasy baseball. Andre, let's take it back to fantasy baseball.
Middle America rules this. I mean, Middle America, thank God, because I'm about to go there.
And Rob is a huge St. Louis fan. Rob, are you originally from St. Louis? I'm curious because
no, but when I'm in St. Louis, I'm probably the only Asian guy there.
Yeah.
You're Asian. I can't
yeah,
even
my
tell
mom's
you're Asian.
Japanese.
You see, I have no clue. I'm that ignorant, right? So I have so much white privilege that I'm totally ignorant to the racism because I don't see it in my life.
What we gotta stop doing is categorizing. I think as far as the Black Lives Matter, I think it's a social issue. It's a timing thing. I mean, like I said, we all know that all lives matter. You know, that's not something that I have to be reminded of every day.
Yes.
Like, you know, like as far as my life is concerned, you know, I feel blessed every day with the people in my lives and the family in my lives.
Yes.
You know, but you know, the situation that happened that sparked all this
So,
it's a
but
horrible
when
situation.
you put,
But you know,
when you say
but
that you're going to
everybody's
do
entitled
something,
to stand by their beliefs no matter what they are. You know, I don't think anybody's trying to take anything away from anyone. You know, because you know
somebody,
that's what keeps us as
someone,
individuals, and
so
that's what
somebody
keeps
told
us
me the
safe at
other,
home. You know,
I'm sorry,
that's all
totally
right.
interrupting.
No, it's all good. You know,
I'm totally interrupting you. Yeah.
But it's not personal, Rob. This is Andrea. Like this is what I'm saying. Like
I would do
everybody
it
is
if I
a little
could.
personal.
well, no.
No,
See,
but you
I'm not
see,
disagreeing with anything because you know, like, you know, when you have your families and you want to raise your kids with what you believe is true, you know, and there's nobody else in your life that's going to influence that. But you know, you just want to make sure everybody lives their lives with integrity and you know, with a strong belief system, because that's the only thing that's going to change this country. Because you know, we're getting freaking lowballed with this COVID bullshit. I mean, I don't want it. Nobody wants it, but it's just weird how all this fucking shit's timing out. You know, I want to go to a baseball game. And I don't want to sit
yeah,
next to a bunch of fucking stuffed animals. you know
I cannot wait of this.
Like I want
This,
to eat a
dude,
Polish fucking dog with sauerkraut and mustard and freaking hear the crack of the bat. You know,
Yep.
and I think a lot of people want.
Let me tell you, it's going to be the best day. Yes, it'll be the fucking best day of my life. I would not worry about anybody getting in within 6 feet of me on any side. That would be the best. So
Right.
I look forward to it. I hope that they allow some fans in, because think about
part
it.
of the
They were
game.
saying one thing I read today was that owners would lose $600,000 for every single game that's played without fans. And
Well,
so
that goes to show you how much they're making with fans.
okay, each
So it's gonna
600,000
be.
each, of course.
It's gonna be hard for me to feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for the
I don't feel
concession
sorry for
stand
nobody.
workers. You know, people that are gonna be out of a job because they're not gonna be selling a whole lot of hot dogs.
Yeah, the concession
You know
stand
what?
workers, the ticket sale workers, the security guards. I feel sorry for all those people. I don't have an ounce of sorriness for any baseball.
Why? They're
Because-
able to collect unemployment.
Any baseball player is playing a game, very likely making more than I do, being able to help our world in a day, striking out 4 times, making 4 errors in the field. No, thank you. No, sorry from my point of view.
Yeah, totally.
I'm
So,
still here.
okay, let's talk about GOAT, Steve.
Okay.
So you said before I lost touch with reality that you had a strategy that, because I would go back and forth with the only person that I know in this league, and I would be like, dude, I just don't get why we can't draft. If somebody's ready to draft and you know it's their turn, then just fucking let them draft, for crying out loud. Like, please, we just yearn for something to do, I think. And plus, you said you had a strategy to that, and I just still in there.
I wanted people to take their time and enjoy the process.
It's just annoying though if it's taking too long.
No, you're looking at it in the wrong way. You're looking at it that you want to get it over with.
No, I
I'm
don't.
of the older generation to enjoy the ride as you go,
Okay,
you know?
but
Which
it's
is
not that enjoyable when it's time to draft. Like, how much math do you need to do? At
Well,
some
that's
point, you're
why
ready
I've
to.
changed it so that it will all be done on the internet. You'll make your
No.
list and boom and bang. One
First
day.
of all, that's a good idea for you because it's a lot of work what you did, and that would be a great idea for you. But for us, it doesn't matter about that. It's just that there will never be another time like this in our entire lives. Like, there will never be another year where we're going to be sitting here having this conversation about whether or not we should allow people to draft because they're just everybody's home stuck. They want something great to do, so they really want to be able to just draft, okay, see if somebody else drafted, whatever. But that was just my point of view. I don't think that we'll ever be able to compare it to anything because I hope that this will never who would ever guess a serious pandemic, a riots and
Peaceful
unemploy-
protests turned to riots because of the thug and animalistic police tendencies that are now starting to change. I'll leave it at that. The New York person, excuse me,
I agree with you.
there's video that you're acting like thugs and animals.
Right, but you have to take these videos in context.
75-year-old men and breaking their heads. Excuse me, this is the first time in history police are to an increment being held to the same standards as if a civilian committed the same act. And I could be ever so thankful for that. Let's get it back to fantasy baseball. But
No, hold on a
ever so
minute.
thankful for that.
No, but there's a certain type of personality that wants to become a police officer to begin with, and that some of
And
them
clearly
are problematic.
the mental background checks are inefficient.
Absolutely, there's bad police officers, but everybody fucking hates a cop till you need one, okay? And I will tell you that we have some great friends of ours that are NYPD, and we're very proud of that. I still like get really, I smoke weed, and like, I mean, I honestly, I'm not a fan. When any cop approaches me, I'm feeling very nervous. But no, not one of them has ever treated me bad, and it's probably because I fucking look like a wholesome white girl.
But that is a very important piece to have as perspective. Absolutely.
I understand that. And okay, look, just like I used being a woman to get where I'm at today, being a woman is not a bad thing. You just have to know how to use your tools to do whatever. But seriously, cops are for the most part good people that are trying to protect the community.
To you. And to me, and
look
to
at the
Devo,
statistics. Let's just look at statistics.
People, absolutely.
Statistics speak loud and clear.
Statistics are only statistics when they're written down.
75% of the crime in this country is committed by Black people.
Because those are the ones that are targeted in diverse areas.
No.
Because segregation is still alive.
Hold on a minute. They commit the most crimes because they're targeted?
When you look at statistics of Blacks versus whites, let's just say, or other races, Blacks will be charged and actually convicted of crimes that whites will not be of the same doing. And that is the statistics I look at that is very true.
That's not anything about white or Black. That's about money.
No, it's about the policing system. It's about our judicial system. It's about our court system. It's about Jeffrey Epstein should have been gone a long time ago.
For sure.
And all of a sudden, because he has money, the DA is going to now say, you're good?
Can I call a timeout here?
Yes, please.
Please.
Okay. I would really like to talk about baseball.
Okay, and, no problem. No problem.
Because I mean, these things are everywhere, and like
I know.
The thing that I like about fantasy is it is something that helps me.
No problem.
Numb my mind from things.
All right, let's go.
Much agreed.
So,
absolutely.
Okay.
Steve yes. Look at us. Okay,
these are things we can have a forum for, but I can,
no problem.
Moving
let's
on.
Just move. Let's
Next.
just. So, did you answer the questions on the list, Steve? You had some questions on the list about what was your strategy going in? What was your strategy, right? Like, what would you have done different?
Originally, I went in with the strategy of trying to build the best batting team with a couple of ace pitchers. And then I went for the strategy of going and getting relief pitching, such that in the middle of the whole event, I changed again. I don't know if any of you else changed, but every time I'd come across and get to a point, I think it's something different. I changed my original Accum numbers from adding runs, hits, home runs, RBIs, and stolen bases together to eliminating hits from that and looking at average as a separate entity. In pitching, I went for the ace, and I don't know about anybody else, but Randy Johnson was my number one pitcher.
And you got him?
Who was your number one pitcher, Nick?
Pedro.
My number one pitcher, let me look.
I was
And-
so lucky to get Pedro, dude, because
Yes.
somebody quit and they didn't pick him, like, for some reason. And you know what I love the best is I got to draft Jose Fernandez. I got to draft some players and just some people that I don't know, would never get to draft with again or never got to draft. Like Jose Fernandez is on my team.
Right? Rest in peace, Jose. My first guy was Garrett Cole, and that's who Steve's next pick was.
Yes. That happened quite a few times.
How
to
many
everybody.
times? That never one time happened to me. Not one time did somebody I never got sniped, dude, in the whole draft.
Rob did me all week. I prepared to draft Palmeiro, and Rob picked him right before me.
I was
He's the
planning
only
on
good
drafting
bad luck.
Rafael Palmeiro from week 1, and nobody got him. I just kept
So was
holding off
I.
and
So
holding
was
off.
I. But being that I had the second pick during the 5th selections, I felt I could get him. But no, Rob got him. And I think I did it to you, Rob, didn't I?
Nice job, Rob.
You did
Jimmy
it
Rollins?
to me with Piazza
Jimmy Rollins?
and Rollins.
So what do you think about that, Andrea?
I think I really just what I take out of that is just that I am very grateful that I didn't get sniped, because not one time did somebody put me in a position to be like, I need to figure out what to do in backup plan. I don't know why that is. I think I drafted an okay team. So you think about it, the stuff is the difference between first place and 8th place is minuscule, right? It's only just a couple of something.
It can be, but what it's usually a couple of, let me tell you this. What I learned was they usually a couple of what it's going to be a difference is ERA and whip. It's going to be difference of ERA and whip.
It's
the
batting
further
average,
you get
dude.
into the draft, you're going to draft pitchers, and your ERA and whip are going to increase. The reason why those players didn't get picked previously. And so that's the main key, that you could have a great ERA and whip with RPs. However, once you start drafting your SPs, once the Garrett Coles, once these guys are out of there, your ratios are going to increase exponentially.
Right,
And
but I
you
don't
can't come
feel
back
like
from
that
it.
happened, dude. And I specifically drafted my team around that idea, and I don't think it really worked.
Well,
I
you
don't
started
think
with Pedro. Come on.
I started with Pedro, and I mean, one of the things that you mentioned was that you changed your plan and your strategy 3 times, and
Yes.
by keeping that close of track of what's going on, you change strategy almost like it's changing underwear or something. Like just because some guy's ahead right now and you need to catch up in this one category, you change your strategy, and I don't know if that's a good idea.
I change my strategy every week. And
You
I
have
think
to
that
change it at least once.
I change it every single week because it took a week. I had so many opportunities Monday through Saturday to change my strategies, Devo, and
Every
everybody.
week.
I did it every day, and I loved
You
it.
just
but I
said
hated
you
it
change your strategy every week.
every day.
Did you
because
change your strategy
strikeout
every
ratio-
week?
Every week, because strikeout ratios is
Oh,
the
that's
difference
bad.
total strikeouts, and it's not bad because of this reason. Every week, because of a snake draft option, you don't have access to a player that you could have had access to in an auction per se. And so you have to rethink it every single week because of the 5 rounds in a snake draft that other teams choose.
But so part of the strategy that I come up with is an overall strategy where I say to myself, people are going to eventually have to start drafting starting pitchers. They're going to have to start drafting them because they have to have a certain number of starting pitchers. And so my strategy is not going to show rewards for until late, until when they have to start drafting those starting pitchers, and then I can slowly watch my ERA and WHIP be more competitive. But like, I'm not sure that really I thought that was a great idea, the best plan, but you have to be patient. And if you change your plan,
But Andrea,
after-
you didn't change your batting average plan though. I don't feel.
the batting average, I didn't even fucking think of until I saw you doing it. I mean, that's the way it is. My
And-
brain was working against me. I was
That's the
telling
thing.
myself, you need to catch up in a different way. And that, I mean, I should have just dropped batting average right away, because that opens up the player pool to like,
If we ever do this again, this is what's crazy, right? I would say batting average would be the least important category. However, in the average category, however, average ERA, average WHIP, and average ratios, there are 3 averages as far as ratios goes
Pitching.
in pitching, and
yeah.
only 1 average in ratio with hitting.
K per 9 is
Eliminate
the
that 1 to the 3.
I was all about K per 9. The K per 9 was the most important stat for me in when I started. And when I ended up in last place after second week, I was in last place. I was like, K per 9, dude. Yes, I have the best K per 9. Big fucking deal. You know, like, what are you doing? So
You have to trickle in the wins and the saves. I mean, that's the other key part, though. You have to trickle in the wins and the saves.
I think you could give up wins as easy as you could give up batting average. Or could you give up ERA?
I would give up wins if any of the 5 categories. Give up wins first.
I would give up batting average first.
Wins first, of course. That's why you have to draft so many starters, because if it wasn't for that rule, everybody would be drafting relief pitchers.
Right.
Absolutely.
But now the poor relievers, dude, the most important guy in the entire game is just kicking it on fantasy waiver wires everywhere. Okay.
Let's go, Archie Bradley. Let's do it this year.
Oh, 2 people are waiting, you guys. Are you kidding me?
Oh, Ernie's probably in, guys. Ernie's in.
Ernie.
I sent the link.
Ernie's here. Ernesto and Ernie.
What's up, Ernie? Good to
Hi,
have-
Ernie.
He's in twice.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so for sure. So
He might
Ernie,
need to unmute.
He's
he
connected
drafted a lot of
on me.
relievers. Remember, Ernie, all relievers.
And Ernie was trying to beat me in saves by getting the starting pitchers with 1 or 2 saves. He was gonna try.
You were
and
the
do
one that
but
taught
when
me
I said-
Icorn. Ernie did.
Right, but when
Yeah.
he tried to draft him.
Ernie, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
No, he's not. I heard him.
Oh, no?
I can hear you.
Ernie, say hello. I can't hear him.
Neither can I.
No, let me unmute him. I could do it.
Rob, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I can't hear Ernie.
Can you hear
I
me?
can't either.
Yep.
I heard
Oh,
him.
yes,
Hear you
now.
now. You're the new
know.
Verizon spokesperson.
How's it going, Nick? How's it going, Andrea?
Good.
Hey,
Mark
Lauren.
Icorn. Thank you. We were talking about him
you-
earlier.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And
that was
nobody drafted him. Are you kidding? Like, were you guys all aware that he was still sitting there?
Why do you
Oh,
want him?
yeah.
well, I was gonna get him, but it didn't qualify for starting pitcher. So
Yep, that's how I learned of him. I was like,
Yeah.
that guy got like 13 or 15. I don't know how many wins. A lot
Yeah.
of wins.
14
And
wins,
then
10 saves.
157 innings pitched. It was like very good ratios. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that he was still sitting there. And maybe that just might have been actually the fucking end of me right
So-
then. Mark
Well-
Icorn, because it was like a cross between. I wasn't really pinpointing what I needed. I was just like, this guy's going to give me a lot of wins, a great ratio, but maybe I needed.
then
Scott Williamson. That was my
That's-
last
Hi.
pick, Scott
That's Nick.
Williamson.
Yeah, I saw Nick over at the.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
the
Can you
campground.
can you see her?
Yep.
yeah. Hi, Olivia.
Hello.
We saw him over by the.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Olivia.
That's Andrea. That's Devo. That's
That's
Rob.
Devo?
Yeah, that's Rob. And then that's me.
Oh.
Where's Larry at?
People don't look at all like what you do.
Larry, I think, is in San Francisco right now at his hotel. Why he can't log on, I'm not sure, but
We should call him.
we should. Can you do that?
What, is he on a road trip?
Well, he's from Lodi and he's in San Francisco. I wouldn't call that a road trip per se.
Okay, what's he doing over there staying in a hotel?
Trying to catch Billy Hamilton at this. No, I'm just
Hold-
joking. That's what I'm going to try to do.
Oh God.
I know that's
Go
some
ahead,
kind of
Nick.
inside
Billy
joke. Okay.
Hamilton. Yeah.
Oh,
Not gonna get
Billy.
to first base, won't steal second.
Do
No,
you
but
ever
Andy-
shave your beard in the summertime, Steve?
Nope, he's keeping it through December.
Santa
I know
Claus.
that has to be hot, dude. I hope you have a lot of good central AC going on.
I have a swimming pool.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
I just went from the mustache
How's it going, Rob?
to clean shaven.
What's up, Bernie? How you doing, brother?
Dude, your
Good.
twin brother
good.
is on YouTube. Baby Baseball, that's you. I'm not kidding. There is a guy on YouTube that is exactly Nick. It is
That's-
him.
That-
It is
that-
his brother. His name is Baby Baseball. He loves San Francisco Giants, and I'm pretty sure that's him.
Hey
Pretty
Nick,
sure.
why aren't you on the top line? Or maybe I just don't see you. Oh, there you are. Now I see you.
Can you see everybody?
Yeah, I have to move the cursor over.
or
because
Tell
of
us
my-
the strategy.
Gallery
Oh,
view.
I know why. It's not full screen. There we go. Now I got everybody.
Well, I only have you, Arnie. The one
Now
who's
you got
Gallery
the full-
view, Devo.
You had to go full screen.
In gallery
Okay.
view.
Okay, I think that I'm trying to make sure that it is in gallery view. But so Ernie, you were the
Uh-huh.
guy that wanted all the relievers. You drafted all relievers, and that was your goal. In my opinion, that's how I read you. Am I correct on that?
Well, I grabbed. I wasn't gonna do that, but then I figured I can hold on to a couple of stats, but it didn't work out for me in the last couple of tries. It didn't work out.
But you left a good number of I think that your availability was okay, wasn't it? Or did you leave like you needed 2 starting pitchers in the last 2 rounds? I mean, did you put yourself into that kind of shimmy?
Yeah, I could have probably stayed with 4 starters and gone with all the rest of the pitching. I probably would have helped but the stats, the ratios were terrible. After the first 2 rounds, the ratios were terrible.
Okay, so then fine. Thank you for saying that, because that was how we kind of went into it, thinking that it's gonna pay off eventually when this guy actually has to draft a starting pitcher. His ERA is going up. Like, do you really feel like that was because I look at the ratio of players at that position. So the catchers, I went for catchers. I don't know if I'm not sure that was really that beneficial, but Ernie got the last 2 good catchers. I know this for sure. There was at one point when you got the turn, you drafted 2 catchers in a row, and I was like, that was brilliant what he just did, because that was the last 2 great catchers that were like 100 runs, 100 RBIs.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, they're all good stats. Yeah, but there was, I mean, the all the ones that I had on my list, everybody took them the first 2 rounds. Everybody took them.
But you were
Yeah.
well, you could have taken them too. Why didn't you?
Yeah,
take
but
it?
I wasn't looking at catches that early. I was thinking
So your
second,
strategy
maybe.
was, but you knew that catchers could be really crappy at batting average.
Right.
Yeah, but he got Jorge Posada with a 338 average.
Yeah.
And Russell Martin with a 293
Yeah.
Rob,
and
when
21
did you,
stolen bases.
Antoine, yeah, that was the only reason I went for those guys. But I mean, I could have drafted the other ones earlier, but I was going. I did mine a little bit different.
you were
And
the
then
last.
Steve,
You
and
know,
then
yeah,
huh?
go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
and then Steve was piggybacking me the whole draft with the saves.
There were several people drafting a lot of relievers.
Yeah.
Where did
Oh,
you
yeah.
draft catchers, Rob? Where did you draft catchers?
Well, I looked at well, I was going to take Piazza if Devo didn't take Piazza. I think that was in the second round.
You got Joe
Second round.
Mauer first.
Well, but that was after Devo took Piazza.
Rob's
So-
second pound pick was Mauer catcher.
Right. But,
Yeah, but-
I mean, when you have a spike at average like that, I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, okay, that's right. So you look at what is really shallow, right? And you try
Scarcity.
to So, but that led you, Steve, to draft a catcher in the second round. Are you still, do you believe that you would do that again?
Yes.
Because there's like 3 really good catchers. I learned this playing GOAT. That there's 3 really good catchers who actually had like everything that you could possibly look for in a hitter.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Pudge.
Pudge,
Yes,
yeah.
Piazza is one of them too,
And
for
Mauer.
sure.
And then you got Javi
Mauer
Lopez.
had one good
Javi
season.
Lopez.
I know.
That's
it
all
doesn't
you
matter.
take.
I
That's all
know.
it takes and go.
But Javi Lopez, didn't I get him?
I drafted
His
him.
batting average was so bad.
Did I draft him or no?
You did.
I don't know. But
Oh,
I looked at the catching situation and I said to myself, there's like 4, dude, or 5 on this list that fits in that tier. And I decided to go there. And I wish at that point I would have said, fuck batting average. I will draft a catcher later with a shitty batting average who got like amazing counting stats.
Todd
You
Hundley,
got
baby,
Javi-
241
Hundley.
average.
What about
259
Russell?
average.
He stole 21 bases one year.
Carlton Fisk had
Russell-
a 238 average.
Is it Russell Martin that did it? I don't know. Some Russell. Who?
No.
Carlton Fisk. Okay, 238. That was after you decided that you were gonna just forget about batting average. But so I wonder about the catcher thing. There's a strategy involved with the catching, and where do you
great.
draft?
You did great. I would say picking Javi Lopez with a 328 batting average, 43 home runs, 100 RBIs, 90 runs scored. You ain't gonna get much better.
But
Nope.
And
that's
Mike
the
Livertall
problem. I
was
don't
great
think
too.
the catcher early did justice for me because I will say that I could have got better ratios at that point had
You
I
could have got
decided-
Mike Livertall, which is what Rob got in the last round.
He was great. Livertall, I love him. I like him.
That was
He
a
was
great
great.
pick late.
But I
late
was
round.
still
pick.
paying
Rob,
attention to
great pick.
batting average. I should have junked that.
I drafted
so-
him.
And last
Oh,
round,
okay. Oh, you did?
that was his last pick.
Who did I
Or
get
no,
for my-
last pick as far as hitters go.
Okay, catchers. How many catchers did you draft late? Some people had 2 catchers last because why not? They're the word, If somebody was drafting for stats, they would draft catchers last.
And I did. Gary Carter, 281 batting average with 32 homers, 100 RBIs.
But who did you draft as your first catcher?
Piazza.
So then one would say to you that if you're going to target the market, then why don't you just go for it? And why would you
And I
wait
went
until
to
the
get the
crappy?
best possible at the time.
How much is the last draft pick going to hurt your batting average?
I
Didn't hurt
won't
it at all
draft.
because I'd already padded it enough with enough 300 hitters that I was not going to lose a point to Richard in batting average. And I wasn't going to catch Rob in batting average. So I was not worried about batting average.
Do you wish that you would have tanked batting average earlier?
No.
I do. I'll never in
I know
a
you
GOAT
do.
type league. I
I
will
know.
never go for batting average again, and cashers will be my dead last. More than Mike Livertall is out there, like guys like that.
I think I thought he had a great season. I remember looking at him.
He had an amazing season. So why should I go for a catcher in any rounds earlier when they're still available in a 10-man league in this instance?
Because for this, first of all, there's no way that your last pick of the draft is going to compare to Mike Piazza, dude. There's nothing.
If I drafted the Oakland closer Blake Treinen that year, I would have won the league. If I didn't give Richard him, I would have won it. One pick made the difference
Did
in our
Richard
league.
win?
Yes.
Richard won.
Where is Richard?
Richard is in Reno right now with his
Did
wife.
he go after me? Was he like right before? He was right next to me on one
He
side or
was-
the other.
Yeah, close.
In the
Well,
middle.
draft.
Devo made the biggest comeback. Steve, you
Who
made
did?
the biggest comeback out of anybody.
Oh yeah, 20-some points last round in
Yeah,
batting.
he was dead last.
I needed 4 batters and I just plowed
And you
ahead
got
of
the
all
right,
you.
yeah, you got the right ones. I tell you, that
So,
was
Devo,
amazing.
does that tell you next time you'll focus on pitching sooner since
Oh,
you know
yeah.
you can get
Yeah.
the batting at the end?
Right. So
yeah.
Steve, you did pitching early and then you left 4 hitting spots available at the last 4 rounds. Is that right?
Yeah. The last Saturday I needed 4 pitchers and 4 batters and 1 pitcher. And I wanted to leave the 1 pitching slot open so I could figure out what Ernie was doing so I didn't lose saves.
So how did you finish in ERA and WHIP? I want to know because I think
3 and 3. The standings have me 6 in ERA, 6 in WHIP, 3 points in KIP. I booted that.
what about
Yeah,
you,
I-
Rob? Where did you finish in pitching?
You know, I'm not really sure.
You
Rob was
4,
2
2,
points in
3,
ERA,
5.
3 points in WHIP, 5 points in KIP, 2 points in
Yeah,
wins.
you know, I really got. I think I focused on hitting, and then when it came to focusing on pitching, I think I was just a little lackadaisical on it because I wasn't. I was away from the computer or whatever.
I remember seeing your name at the top of the leaderboard. I remember seeing that for a couple.
Well, yeah, but I was just padding my batting.
Andrea, of the
So,
first
but you were
fif-
proving at the time that you can win a league by choosing mostly offensive players, and you can literally be. We don't look a lot about the short term, but
Right.
I think that all of these patterns that we see in this league, they occur over a longer period of time overall. So if we can take something out of it, I would say that you can punt a category in points. Like you can punt an entire category.
Only
and-
one.
No, you
Yeah.
can punt 2 categories and still have a good stats.
Yeah, don't
Can
listen
you
to
win?
Ernie.
No, like
I've
you
seen
can-
Ernie
Yeah.
punt 5 categories.
Wow, that was not intentional. That was not intentional. I just couldn't figure out how to do that. My one big mistake was not leaving the UTs open and the pitchers open to be able to take whatever I wanted to. That was my mistake. I padded those. I put those in the positions, and then I couldn't go anywhere else. I had to go strictly position, and that I think that screwed me more than anything else.
We have both of the ends of the draft here. We have the number 1 pick and the number 12 pick, or the 10 pick. Like the end, the guy that always gets to take 2 picks. We have both of
Yeah.
you here.
Yep.
And I was saying earlier that I think that I would love to be in Rob's spot, where he was the last guy to get a pick, and he was the first guy to draft too. I would love that spot. Ernie, did you like being the guy on the turn?
Then
Do you
my
think-
the 10 and 11 pick, yeah, it was great.
One day
If I-
you were
yeah.
driving around doing a birthday party for somebody. It was like Ernie's off.
No, we were here at the house, and my daughter's gonna have a baby on. She's gonna have a baby on supposedly July 10th. We're thinking it's coming early, but we had a drive-by baby shower here, and I had all my paperwork out there, and I had all my stuff out there with my phone and my tablet and everything. I was out there out front, so I can use the Wi-Fi out here. And
Whatever
and
it
I was
is,
trying
Ernie,
to keep
whatever
up.
it is.
It was tough. It was tough.
Doesn't even matter, dude. It was
No.
fun drafting with you guys. I mean,
It
I was
was.
frustrated. I was like, what is Ernie doing? Did he not know that this drive-by or that this like party was gonna be going on? That he could just send his pick. But okay, Steve had it all planned out, and I think it was for the best.
Well,
that-
Gary from Indiana sent in his list every year because he works at a
Oh my
warehouse
Tire factory.
all day, right? And
But
But you
Um,
want to see who's
where was the
picking
good
before
kicker?
you. You can't just send in a random list of
Oh my
players.
God.
but
Okay.
Gary did pretty well though for sending in a random list, which was pretty cool to see, you know? Like for a
Ha-
random list, Gary did really well. I was surprised.
I just remember this horrific feeling of taking a nap while it was time to draft and everybody was waiting. And I was like, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah.
How
He
did
didn't
you
even-
do that with that the time difference? That must have been tough.
Oh yeah. Indica
Yeah,
sativa.
you were being
What?
in New
'Cause
York, that time difference must have really got you good.
doesn't even matter about the time. Like, I mean, I'm totally up these hours. I was
It's
just
almost
taking-
midnight right there, right now.
I love staying up. What the hell else, dude? If I stay up till 4 in the morning, I'm good because I don't have to get up for anybody. But just, I mean, I do
Except
like
on
to get
Sundays.
Saturdays, dude. We record on Saturdays now
Oh wow.
because
Really?
the producers don't go to the studio.
Go.
It's really annoying on Saturday, but it's wonderful on Sunday because then it's over with and I could just listen. You know, like Lenny loves to listen. I hate hearing my own voice, so I just say fuck it. I don't care about it. Leave me out of it.
XM Fantasy
So what?
Radio
So
180.
what station? What
Seven?
station do you do for your
On the
your
Fantasy
show?
Sports Channel. On
Fantasy
you are you
XM
kidding me? Not
187,
one
I
of
think.
you has listened to the pod. Not one of you has listened to the Serious Show, but I have talked about the GOAT League more than once. I would always try to get the GOAT League in because I think that there are things about it that I really do love doing. In the fact that we don't have baseball right now, I'm playing Stratomatic. I'm doing this GOAT League. It was like a unique experience that I don't hear anybody else doing. And my adrenaline was for real in this
Yeah,
league.
it's off the
It was-
charts.
Totally.
It was a
Totally.
fun time.
Comment deferred.
So
So-
if I mean, I think I put the link to the GOAT website. If anybody wants to go to that, you can find the link. Just say it out loud though, because you know, not everybody's always around. Say it again.
What's the link?
Okay. I'm pulling it up here.
You don't- I'm sorry I put you on the spot like that. How rude.
I was over on another page. It's goatbaseball.com. Wait a minute. This is not right.
He's an Oakland A's fan. What do you think about that, Mr. Giants fans?
He's
out
more
there?
of a Giants fan. He loves baseball as a whole, I feel, right, Devo?
I
What if he
born
was
in
an Oakland A's
and my
fan?
initials are SF. Figure it out.
So SF, fine. You're just what? You love the fact that you get to choose one of two teams to root for? Because like in New York, they
Opposite
have to have
leagues.
two teams. It's
No.
If Giants and A's are in
I'm a
World
Giant
Series,
fan. Nick,
There you go.
quiet. I'm a Giant fan from way, way back. And then when I had to pick a American League team, my family is in Kansas City.
yeah.
They moved the Oakland team to moved to Oakland in '68. That was my senior year in high school. So that's when I started loving Oakland.
Hey, you.
But Oakland
the
never
Giants
wins. You're
took,
like a
and
Mets
then Mad
fan.
Bum took Casey right out of the equation.
I
for the
also have a
championship.
major affiliation with Oakland because I, for years, was the president of the booster club for the Sacramento River Cats, which is the AAA affiliate of the Oakland A's.
But now
Yes,
the
and
San Francisco
everybody
Giants.
The Sacramento River Cats are very popular.
Yes,
I went to their
I-
games too.
I
when I
helped
went
get the
to
stadium built. I did the tours. I helped the players. I knew them personally.
So listen, you're rolling around in an A's jersey, okay? So you are okay. You're like a Mets fan, and when you're not, you don't expect things to come your way easily, and maybe you don't even win, but you're still a fan. Because the only people that are Mets fans or A's fans are people that are like real fans, right? Because I'm sorry. I thought the ballpark in Oakland was not a bad place. I thought they had all these food trucks outside. I loved it there. I think that Oakland has a chance to win the World Series right now.
Free
Like,
parking at Bart, it's the best. And then you got people outside, like these tweakers, homeless people. they try to take your money, and you're
Are
like,
there
look, this
bars,
is free
though,
public
next-
parking. Sorry, they make thousands of dollars every night charging people for parking to park at BART during the A's games. It's awesome.
Okay, but that's because like there's nothing around there, right? There's nothing around in the Oakland
Not
Park.
right now.
The whole parking lot was full of food trucks.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I have partial season tickets with the A's right now. As a matter of fact, I didn't even ask for a refund. I'm just going to let it sit there until they're ready again. And
Oakland
then
is paying their minor league players. They're
Yeah,
paying them.
They did a 180.
My wife and I, we take Amtrak during the season. It's half off for seniors. So I take Amtrak
Love
and
it.
it dumps us right there at the stadium. And all you do is climb up the ramp and
Love
then go
it.
in the stadium. It's really
Love
cool.
it. For
Yeah,
real.
I love
That's
it.
in Seattle, the same thing. In
Oh, okay.
Philadelphia, the same thing.
Oh, nice.
Take the train from Philly or from here in New York to Washington, D.C. to see the Nationals, or Philly. Drops you right off at the stadium. In
Mhm.
Seattle, it does the same thing. Forget it. I love it that you get half
Nice.
off too.
And you could eat roasted crickets in Seattle too. We
Oh,
didn't try them, but it was available.
I did. They're disgusting. They made me throw up, dude. I
Hang
put 'em on
hang
these
on a minute,
crab
guys.
nachos.
I'll be back in a little bit.
Cool.
Okay. So the crickets are nasty.
Mm. If they're not gluten-free and organic, I don't want them.
They are, dude. They're total gluten free. They're everything.
So,
I dumped them
Andrea,
on top.
getting back to GOAT, what strategy would you not do next time?
I would immediately David Freeze.
Yes.
I see David Freeze.
Yes. The man.
Love it. So do you live in St.
legend.
Louis?
No, I'm in Sacramento, but my first baseball games were at Busch Stadium when I was a
Okay.
kid. My aunts lived over there in St. Louis area.
The first games that you go to in life that's the team that your heart is the most fond. And that's how you get young baseball fans. You take them to a game and you show them the way.
And now
What
Rob's a
is-
fan of the Lucha Libre League.
This is actually River Cats.
That's River Cats?
That's the Sacramento.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
they
that
do
is
one game a year
awesome.
where they dress in this weird thing.
That is great.
Yeah.
Seriously? Honestly?
Steve, what if it's Oakland Athletics against the San Diego Padres? Wouldn't
That
that
is
be
great.
fucking amazing?
That is awesome.
Yeah, but we did have the Bay Series where it was against San Francisco.
Forget San
Earthquake
Francisco, dude. They're not the same as Oakland. They're different. They're just different.
They're
Whatever.
winners.
It's like putting Yankees and Mets against each other.
They're a dynasty. Exactly. Yankees and Mets.
They're friends until they have to compete against each other, right? But the Yankees are the best team to hate in all of baseball. That's how I became a baseball fan, because I hated the Yankees. Literally, that's how I became a Red Sox fan. I just couldn't stand.
And Lenny's a Yankee fan, right?
Well, Lenny, no, he will. Well, he's a New York fan, and he's a Mets fan and a Yankees fan. He used to be a Brooklyn Dodgers fan and a Giants fan. He used to be like the three teams that were like the classic teams in baseball. Lenny used to be fans of those teams. Like, what's the Giants now, right? Or no, it was the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was the Dodgers, the Giants,
And the
and there was
Yankees.
one other team around.
Yankees.
I'll tell you what the Dodgers are. The Dodgers are somebody who does everything they can to win it, and they never can get over that hump.
Can you imagine being the Dodgers? Like, what's up? Mookie Betts is going to be a free agent. So I get so annoyed at these players saying that they don't feel like playing because they have injury risk. Like, I'm not going to risk my body to play for this little amount of money. And I say, you've been playing in the minor leagues for like 6 years before you ever even got called to the majors. So you're telling me, do you think it would be better for your career to take a year off than to fucking play? You're getting paid for the number of games that you're playing. If there was a huge contract risk on the line, I do try to understand the side that would say, I'm Luis Castillo. I'm in my last year of arbitration. Like, why would I come out there and risk injury to my arm when I know that I could get a couple $100 million? Or And I say to them, that is just, I wouldn't sign you if you did that. I would not want you on my team because I think it's bad juju. What do you guys think? Steve? Okay, Rob?
Pass.
What was the question? I didn't get it.
Like, what do you think of the player that says, I'm not going to play this year because it's too little money to risk getting hurt when I have a huge contract possibility on the line and I could make $10 million? Why would I risk that over a
Because the
couple?
season's going to be shortened.
Like but not only that, it's not that their season is just going to be shortened, but that they're like, they agreed to get paid by the number of games that they play. And then all of a sudden the owners are like, okay, we're not going to make any money. So we expect you to give up more money. And the problem is that like in a couple days, the commissioner of baseball is going to come out and say, I, demand or whatever, he has the right to say that we are having a season.
It's his nuclear ability, they call it, his
Right.
nuclear order.
You already
We
said
are
it today.
having a season now. We're going to force it upon you that we are allowed to have at least 50 games. And the
You said
owners,
it today.
Yeah,
Trevor
and be
Plouffe-
thankful you're not a teacher making 50 grand, working your ass off all year and you're playing baseball. That's all he has to say, and everybody should be happy with it.
I don't,
I think what we're talking about, especially with baseball players, is, I mean, not only do they have a job, but they're also a commodity. You know, and
They're not essential, even though
they're
they
the
are to
first
us.
thing that goes when
but the thing
people-
it is, you know, they're not going to be able to play baseball for longer than their body will allow them, whether by injury or even by longevity. I mean, you know, some players' careers only last about, what's the average? 8 years,
Well,
9 years.
Lenny seems to think it's like 3 or 4 years, and I say it's like 9 years. So like we're totally.
Well, but there's a lot of players that, you know, they pitch one inning and then they'll never pitch again. You know, like I think there's a movie about some dude that literally only pitched maybe a total of 60 innings because what was that, the rookie? You know,
He
Didn't-
pitched
I mean,
two
the rookie-
seasons for
yeah,
Tampa
but I
Bay.
mean he might have pitched 3 outs for, you know,
He was a
2 to
relief
3
pitcher.
outs a game.
Jim Morris.
And
Jim
he's-
Morris, yeah.
And how much did he make though?
Well, he cashed in from the Dodgers, but it wasn't. I mean, yeah, enough to open up a bar or some shit. Like
There you go.
Good
you know.
enough, right? Like,
Um,
No, actually, he went back to teaching in Texas.
yeah.
okay.
So, you know, I think as a player, you know, I think part of it is just, you know, you think they're about the fans, but sometimes you got guys that it's all about the money. But you can't blame them, like I said, because it's a commodity. That's their gift. And if they have
When
to
you-
lengthen their career,
When you sign a contract that says that you're going to make this much money, then
Yeah.
you're not a bad guy for asking for that amount of money. And you're not a bad guy because the owners, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is significant.
well, I'm trying to. I think I don't fully grasp your question. Then are you? I
No,
thought
no, no,
we were-
you answered it completely. I thought it was a great answer and I accept
Okay.
it completely. I'm not even arguing with it at all. I'm just like adding to it.
I don't, Rob. I don't agree with it. I think this. If you're making over $1 million, stuff it and just do what you do because
Well, but
most
that's
of
what I'm saying.
society
Like,
is
I
struggling.
don't necessarily agree with that way of thinking because, like I said, like you know, like a lot of people in our community. I mean, we live our lives with humility and integrity, and it shouldn't be any different just because you know your name's on the back of a jersey. You know, because then you're kind of, you know, you're distancing yourself from your fans.
But should
Partially.
they accept less and less? I mean, should they keep being the ones to give in when you have people that these guys, they bought a baseball team. Okay, they're going to lose money this year, but they never offered to pay the players a bonus when they got the MLB, you know, ML BAM, which is like the media aspect of baseball. They get these deals and contracts with these major networks, these and all basically everything. And when it pays off, it's all great.
Sorry,
But
guys.
they don't want to give any extra to the players when it's time to cash in. But they want the players to make up for the loss that they could take on at this moment. And the more
Yeah.
money that you make, the more bills that you have. So
When
like
school
these,
districts are cutting teachers' pay and cutting district budgets, I think taking 75% of your pay when you're talking about the hundreds of thousands of the millions
yeah, but you should
should
compare
should
yourself.
happen.
But you shouldn't compare yourself to that, because just look, if you keep giving and giving and giving, the reason that you bought the house that costs what it does is because
Don't buy
you signed
it.
a
Have a
contract.
financial advisor.
on.
Use your money
You-
wisely.
You took on this home because you signed a contract that was going to pay you this much money. And why is it okay that they could just be like, oh, we're not going to make money, so you shouldn't? But they never ever
that-
give.
Is
They
that s-
haven't. The owners are just shady, dude.
I agree with that, but
Well,
there's
how do you
risks
think
to
they became
everything.
owners?
So then why is it okay to keep as a fan, why is it okay to be like, what, the world needs you, so you should just keep taking these
Well,
fucking
there's-
whips on the ass
Unfortunately,
from
there's
this.
very few models like the one in Green Bay. Fan based or fan owned teams. There's not a
Miami
whole lot of that.
Marlins. The
What's
Miami
that?
Marlins. They
I'm
paid
sorry,
for the Miami Marlins are pretty much owned, like their stadium was built by the fans.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Everything was in the taxpayer dollars. So
Mhm. Well, see, and that's the thing,
they're
and
feeling
those
kind
are,
of ripped off,
but those are the models that like team owners want to hide because they don't want people to realize it's like, hey, if Oakland stepped up for the A's and said, hey, we can actually do this for our team, it wouldn't seem so proactive or reactive. It'd
Are
just
you
be kinda
kidding
like-
me? The fucking players took the charge of that argument immediately when the
Mhm.
Nationals players are talking about, we're going to put in money to make sure that the minor league players are financially stable until the end of this. And when the players are
And
doing
that's
that,
what we're learning. That's what we're learning about our society right now too. Is like we're not doomed like everybody says because a lot of people are stepping up for the people that need help.
totally,
Because that's
Americans-
our humanity. That's the humanity in all of us.
absolutely. That is what American people do for each other. We stand up for each other. We help each other out. I love the fact, I wish that the media would show it more, the good things that people do. But
Yeah.
right now, what totally put the ball into the owner's courts in the fans' mind, the fans may have been saying the players are very selfish and stingy and they make all this money while the normal guy is out of job.
Hell yeah.
Wait till they pay for the minor league players.
But no,
When the owners
David
won't
Price, one
bother.
player.
But that I mean, like
The Oakland
David
A's,
Price has an elbow injury for the last 4 years. Damn right, you should pay some of it out.
what? The owner should be paying that shit, dude. Fucking
They should.
Oakland A's,
Magic
he can't
Johnson,
even pay his
LA,
rent.
it shouldn't be on. Magic Johnson should be paying it. It shouldn't be on David Price. I agree.
It's unfortunate when you see the real truth that the motherfuckers don't give a shit about the people involved. NFL is the worst of all worst, but they continue to try to act like they give a fuck. But CTE was around for a long time, and those motherfuckers, they don't care. They do not care. They don't even take care of the NFL players that are getting insurance. They don't pay for it. They're just horrible. MLB is putting themselves out there right now like that guy. Because
Yep.
he,
Well,
for
like
the amount
Rob
of
said.
money that it would take to support, and the fucking shit storm that they have on this industry, like the monopoly that they have in baseball, is there's no other monopoly in sports. Like,
Well, just like Rob said,
No.
we're learning a lot about our society for the first time. And it's kind of strange to think that based on the history of our country.
what are we
But-
learning about our society, though?
Everything we're talking about right now, because not necessarily we are learning, but society is learning a lot about our society, about how things work, about how people get paid, about how important it is to have businesses open, small, big businesses, how money goes, how the little people depend on these sports seasons beyond the players. That's what we're learning about. We're learning about how the owners aren't taking ownership. That's what
owners-
I think that's what Robin's trying to say, is that we're really learning about our society right now and opening up the eyes of millions of people that have never been opened before because it's never needed to be, because we've never experienced something like this.
Right, but I mean, I mean, I get everywhere I go, I'm like, I look over there and I see, I mean, forgive me with my, okay, let's talk about baseball only.
Thank you.
Talk about, yeah.
Let's make sure that we don't give up this goat, because I love this goat.
Why do you love the GOAT?
I love just the idea of being able to do your do your research, and the way Steve set it up, I thought was great, because we only did it once every week, and then during the week you get to take your time and go through and do all your research, and if and you can do as much or as little as you want to get ready for the next week, and I thought that was fantastic.
So did
Ernie,
you do a
what I
lot?
would say, I agree with that, but what I would say is this: I would love it to be you could do as little as much as you want during the week, but still have a chance to vote. And then come Sunday, depending on where we're at, we will fulfill the 5 rounds.
Well, that's what we did. We did that anyway.
Ernie, were you on the side? Were you like, no, I don't think we should draft during the week? Is that you?
No, I go with, I was just gonna go with the flow. It didn't bother me. I mean, I like the idea of once a week, but I mean, I was telling Richard that if we did, instead of doing 5 rounds, do like 2 or 3 rounds every 2 or 3 days, okay, and then that way it would take away it wouldn't take so much time away from everybody that has jobs and stuff to do during the rest of the week.
And
that would you do it for 2 hours and you're done, and then you go back the next time and come back 2 hours instead of 8 or 10 hours in one day.
Rob, I think if I remember right, you were one of the guys that was like, this is so stupid to keep waiting all the time.
Oh, I'm a smartass. I wasn't. I was
Maybe I
just
don't
doing
even-
it. I just do things to get a reaction. I didn't care. I mean,
Yeah,
half the
Dre,
time
you're gonna
I
get to know
was
Rob
waking
real
up from a
quick,
nap
too.
anyhow.
What happened who left the league? Somebody left the league.
That was
Oh,
that was the other
the-
Larry. That was
yeah,
the other
that's-
Larry.
He gave me Pedro, by the way.
That was
So-
nice. That was nice.
I
Yep.
mean,
It was
I
meant
guess.
to be.
No, you should see me at a live draft.
do you like, so what do you do?
We're
do you
all
look for-
laughing. We're
do you
all
try to mess
laughing,
around
Rob.
with people to like
I'm the reason people want to do automated drafts.
what? I would love to do a live draft. So what do you do at live drafts that makes you so
It's more
humor.
it's more
It's
fun if you
humor.
do when you do the auction draft too.
Rob has a very dry wit that comes across friendly to all.
do you have any Fleetwood Mac?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You have lots of Fleetwood Mac or what? Stevie Nicks from 1979.
Actually, I have the first Fleetwood Mac record, and that's the only one I have.
Do you have a lot
Which
of
is
live
a really
music?
good blues record. With
Those
Peter
speakers,
Green.
they look like my parents' speakers from a long time ago too, but they were so loud.
Those
Boy, I'm
are
feeling old now.
those are 80s. When they came out, they're about $2,000 a speaker. I got them for $500 for the pair.
Do you have neighbors or something?
Oh, I got neighbors. Yeah, this is Oak Park. we got.
So they don't care?
Oak Park?
Oh no, my windows are double pane. I don't blast them a whole lot.
So okay, so when you do,
I mean,
they're
the one
okay.
in my living room, I got these clip speakers. I blast out the front doors.
One time I went to jail because I played Fleetwood Mac. My parents used to play Fleetwood Mac so loud when I was a kid, and I actually went to jail. It was in the 2007 when the Red Sox were about to get kicked out of the playoffs to the Cleveland Indians, and I was drinking these Spanish coffees with 151 rum in them.
Oh,
And
nice.
Yeah, you can blame Fleetwood Mac all you want.
but I kept playing Fleetwood Mac live, and they kept coming to my door saying, you need to stop playing that so loud, or finally they said, next time we're going to take you to jail. And apparently I just kept doing it because I did go to jail that night. I went to jail, and it was not fun. And then I took the train home the next day.
God.
But I was wearing a Pabst Blue Ribbon top with no bra. It was not, the whole situation was not.
Roan in a drunk tank.
It's not. But Fleetwood Mac is a big part of me, you know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just one of the stories that I got. So
Yeah,
And
I
what
never.
I see all
I'm
those-
not
Better
a-
than Everclear.
what do you have for all those albums though? You have so many, right?
Yeah, I'm a metalhead. I got
You
a
have
lot of
Led
heavy
Zeppelin?
metal. What's up?
Led Zeppelin, do you have that?
Of course, yeah.
Pink Floyd,
I got the Floyd.
live or no?
I have the copy of the Pompeii on vinyl.
I
which is
love
one of my
live
favorite
shows.
ones.
Okay, Steve. Okay, let's talk about the league. So Ernie, where'd you finish? I'm seventh.
I ended up in what, fifth place?
Looking,
Yeah, I think it's fifth or sixth. But I hung on.
below Andrea.
You ended up in one,
Right
two,
be- yeah, right
three,
below- right
four,
below you,
five,
Andrea.
6, 7, right under Andrea.
And
I know
and
you
had
actually
40
tied with Andrea, 48 points.
And you both had 15 points in categories, so it went to the production number.
I
did
made
you
up quite a
understand
few
that one,
points at the
Andrea?
end, but
yeah, you
I
did.
just,
Yeah, Chone Figgins. Chone? Chone?
that's
Tony.
what I needed to come in first place in steals. That's how I could like make up the most points, was to get
I-
a guy that, I mean, I saved the utility spot, or he was actually corner. You see, I was trying to come up with ways where I could maneuver my guys around because I did not want to have to get a corner. I needed an outfit. Like the guy that fit my needs was from the outfield. So I actually did find a way. Was it 20 games that is the minimum, or how many games do they have to play at a position
Yep.
before?
20.
So after going through like all of the players, I was like, okay, so I could put this guy over here and I could actually get this other player. But by
Yeah,
the end,
I got Ken Caminiti. What? Because of average, because I was still going for average. I would have got Jose Ramirez over Ken
Right.
Caminiti if I had blown average. And Rob, my question to you is, would you have got Joe Mauer again in the third round if you could redo it? Knowing you got Mike Libertall in the last round.
You know, I mean, hindsight's always going to be 2020. I mean, we know
no,
that.
that's what we should talk
Um,
about. Too.
Let's
What
go,
year is it?
Bernie. Oh,
I think I think you know the one thing. I think the thing that I enjoyed about this league the most was just to have something to do that wasn't,
absolutely.
you know, basically wiping down groceries or some shit. And it was the nostalgia. You know, I mean, at some point, like I really didn't care about the standings as more just like, you know, looking up a bunch of the names and just remembering the games that, you know, like, you know, I was very happy with my Jeff Bagwell pick.
Oh, second
For
round. That
sure,
was
dude.
great.
I
But,
can't
you know,
believe how long
and
he
the
was
main
out
reason
there.
was I just remember going to a game at Busch Stadium, and it was you know, against the Astros, and me and my dad were sitting in Busch Stadium, kind of like in the front of the right field bleachers, and Jeff Bagwell hit a freaking ball. I swear to freaking God, it landed in that center field grass there in Busch Stadium, and that ball never left the ground further than freaking 12 feet.
Jeez.
Like I didn't even see Barry Bonds hit a ball that hard. Like
Lenny
I was
kept
just
telling
like,
me to draft
holy
him.
cow.
Lenny
You know what I
was
mean?
saying
So it
Jeff
just like,
Bag.
these names bring back memories like that, you know, because I mean that's what baseball is. It's like it just brings back, you know, the kid in you or
Yeah.
that time in your life, like the 90s, you know, my dad was alive and, you know, watching baseball with my dad and stuff like that.
So
I mean, for
how
me,
many
that's
of
kind
you-
of what's
Yeah,
up.
how many of you guys did draft based on a player that maybe you didn't get to own, or like somebody that you really admire? Maybe,
I'll address that one. 10 of my 15 batters were former Devos.
okay.
I tried, but Rob took Barry Bonds, and I
Yeah.
say that not because of Barry Bonds' stats, but because my mom and I, we were at the game where he hit. He already tied the record, broke the record. The next game, he hit the next ball that just took the record even further. It went right over my head as my mom and I were walking in the outfield area into the bay. I wanted to jump in the water so bad. Some other guy jumped in the water, started swimming towards that ball, and the guy on the kayak went up and said, "Ha, it's mine." But he helped him
Cubby-
up though, and
Cubby
got
Dave.
him back.
Dude, I would
Memory of
never.
his-
Jumping in the water, dude. That's what I mean. Are you kidding me? I would never jump in.
Did you
for the
draft any favorite
72nd
players,
ball?
Andrea?
What?
Did you draft
Yes,
any favorite
for
players
sure.
other than Pedro?
Pedro and Jose Fernandez.
Okay.
I never
Would
got
you
to
do
own
that
him.
again?
I love it. I thought he had a great year that year, but I don't know if he was right either. There's a couple. You try to pinpoint where you went wrong.
Jake
And-
Peavy? What?
What?
Jake Peavy?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Who
No.
owns Jake Peavy?
I do.
1 year. Like, what? That's what's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, because some of these guys just had one great year. You would never even
Yeah.
know their name. I love that I learned about Mark Eichhorn. I love that I learned. I feel like I learned stuff that I wasn't paying attention to before.
Do you know anything about Steve Olin?
No.
Baseball Reference. Olin.
Well, if you brought him up, then you should say something about him.
He was a roster protection for the Devos 1 year. And in those 2 weeks before the draft, he died.
Oh, okay.
Terrible.
And I had 3 people on my team die in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Which one?
And I laugh. It's not funny, but it's hilarious fantasy baseball wise.
Because
even
we should
one.
be. Yes.
Oscar Tavares
Oh my
Okay.
God. Cardinal.
and
Yeah.
Ace Ventura
Pet
Ace
detective.
Ventura.
or Giordano,
Jim Carrey?
whatever. Giordano.
Yeah. What happened to him? I can't remember.
I
He-
think
He
they're
was on
both car
the
wrecks.
Royals, right?
same thing where they both.
Yeah,
come-
they're showing off their new car in their homeland. They wrecked that shit.
yeah,
That's
and then
terrible.
people robbed them, and it's like crazy stuff happens down there. So
My guy died in a boating accident in Florida.
I
Spring
remember that
training.
one.
They had a day off. Bob Ojeda, Olin, and there was a third pitcher. They were out on a boat. One of them got his scalp lacerated.
Yeah, but they didn't feel it because they were hyped up on cocaine.
Yeah.
Jose Fernandez driving his boat, madman. I mean, he was just.
Well, think
Un-
about Roy Halladay. This guy was
Halladay
on so
already
many
had his
psychiatric,
career.
like
Yeah, his career was over.
pharmaceuticals. What? He should
I
never been
abso-
able to fly.
Lenny says to let him rest in peace, and I say that if he could save one life by putting out his story and making people feel able to relate to that, then it's worth it. Because
Yeah, he could rest in peace, but he's resting in pieces. You see what I mean?
So besides
Hold
their
on.
first round pick, does anybody have a favorite pick of their draft?
like the best pick that
I loved Alex Rodriguez at shortstop specifically with a 40-40 until this pick. Guess which pick at shortstop?
I'm not good at guessing, dude.
Devo, guess which pick at shortstop? Who did you get at shortstop?
Rollins.
There you go. I would have waited and not have got Alex Rodriguez if I could have got Rollins. And you
I
did
was-
pick. Haha.
Well, see, I was going to take Rollins with that pick, and Devo took him.
But I
picked
took
right
Alex
before
Rodriguez as my first round pick, though. And I would have waited for Rollins essentially if I had noticed Rollins at the time, and I didn't.
was it batting average that A-Rod didn't have? I mean, I think there was something that A-Rod didn't have that I was like, wow, I was actually
Here.
surprised that you drafted A-Rod at the moment.
A-Rod batted .310 with 123 runs, 42 home runs, 124 RBIs, and 46 stolen bases.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was. I did question the
You won't
A-Rod
feel
pick.
that any Yankees is a good pick, Andrea. So let's just
Probably.
be real with that real quick.
Dude, I admit it. I have bias. Bad. I did for sure. No doubt about it.
Rob, what one pick did you have that you think surprised everybody?
I mean, one pick? I think I had like 4 picks.
Name them.
Well, I mean, I'm going to look at the ones that, you know, if I had to do over again, I mean, clearly, I mean, they're obvious to a lot of people, but I think,
Tony Gwynn.
you know, the thing about the Tony Gwynn pick was that he had the steals and the runs. He just didn't, I mean, I think,
370 batting average.
right. And, you know, I think I picked 1 year where he might have had 20 home runs. I don't really know.
7.
No, he had 7.
Okay, so I picked the steals year.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn
Um,
is an icon though in the baseball game. He's just he's a fucking
Yeah.
wonderful.
But
Yeah,
see,
and because of
what
him,
I
nobody
mean-
should be using 2 anymore. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Get a glue.
But you know, I think you know, it came to a point where I was just running out of roster spots, and I wish I did have those roster spots back.
Right.
You know, because you know, like I don't think I was really paying a lot of attention to the numbers like a lot of people were. I was just kind of just winging it at one point.
Johnny
I
Damon.
mean, clearly, just looking at my team right now, I didn't even know I drafted that.
Ha
guy.
ha, Johnny Damon. Ha ha. I'm a Red Sox fan and I can't stand the fact that Johnny Damon went to the Yankees. And I am so pleased every day of my life that Johnny Damon is such a.
But I think that
He
was
was-
before all that. I think I
so
got
was
the Kansas
Ellsbury.
City
You
Royal
got-
Johnny
The
Damon.
Yankees got screwed by the Red Sox twice, stealing our players. Finally.
Yeah, you
it
got the
was-
Kansas City. 16 home
Pillsbury
runs,
Doughboy.
88 RBIs, 46 stolen bases.
They're still
Yeah, but
paying
he's hitting for
Pillsbury.
average. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think I was just kind of like,
And Rob, do you think that next time, if we have another league, do you think that you would focus more on across the board stats in general instead of getting the 46 stolen bases? You would get the 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases per se. Like, what would be your strategy for a next go-to league?
I think like, well, with this, you know, I think part of me didn't really realize that we're gonna get stats as we go, because you know I'm pretty lazy. when it
Rob,
comes to shit like this.
Rob, Nick didn't
No
want to let
stats.
me do that. He told me, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And I said, you're not running this league. I am.
Well, you know, but you know, something like this. I mean, we're just
Strategy.
playing into Twink's hands because that's his gambit. But you know, I was I thought like with a lot of players I had, it would make up the difference. You know, like getting Matt Holliday when I got Matt Holliday. I mean, you know, you can't, you know, argue with that.
No,
I
not
don't
at
know
all.
if
Matt
there's a-
Holliday was a great pick.
You know,
Yeah.
and Frank Thomas and all that. But then, you know, like I said, like, you know, when you're looking at one thing and you're not thinking about the other, like I think those players that I took, you know, when I took Tony Gwynn or I took Johnny Damon, I could have easily taken a starting pitcher, you know.
And would you next time get a starting pitcher instead? Is that what you would do?
You know, it just depends on where I'm drafting. You know, I'm not gonna like if I was gonna draft number 1. I mean, I'm probably gonna still take Barry Bonds. you
Oh,
know.
without a doubt. But as far
Did
as
you have a
pitching goes,
problem figuring out whether to pick the 40-40 season for Bonds or the 73 homer season?
I think I was going to do the 73 home run season just because I mean, you can always find steals one way or the other, but you know, I mean, I thought
Stone.
I just thought I always could have that padding. You know, you're just looking for padding. That's why, like, you know, you get these peak categories. You know, like the only reason I took Joe Mauer was just for the padding.
Okay.
You know what I mean, you're
And
just
because I
padding
took
certain
Piazza.
categories, and then you think you can make the sacrifice. I just didn't realize, you know, I think I was just looking at your average when I made certain decisions. But like if I, you know, was sitting down on a computer, I probably would have made a different decision. Because I mean, it's not, you know, if you're you're gonna focus on one team in a category, then you're gonna lose track of 8 teams in other categories. You know.
I
That's
think
what happened
I
with
think
me.
I think as the parameters change on the GOAT League, I think the way you pick are going to change too. Because if you have less players to pull from, it's going to be more competitive. So you're going to have to change the way you pick some of these players.
Right. But yeah, there's definitely players that are on my team that I don't even know why I picked them, but I was probably drunk when I grabbed them. Like I'm looking at it. I mean, I like these hitters. I mean, I love Tony Gwynn, but then like
Stop it.
I didn't even realize I had Mookie Betts. I like Mookie Betts. He had a good year.
What do you think if Mookie Betts doesn't play this year because he doesn't feel like playing for
Sorry.
such little money, and then the Dodgers don't get him on their roster
mean,
at all?
I love it.
But no, I think there's gonna. I mean, if he doesn't want to play this year, then I think the Dodgers have a right to say, "Hey, we can dock you your pay for the games that you missed last year." Like, I mean, because it's still an obligation. I mean,
Well, that was the trade-off that that's what the trade-off was, that they'll get a year of service time if they agree to not take the owners to court based on the fact that they're going to get prorated money. So the players were like, okay, we won't take you to court if you pay us per game that we play, but we get a full year of service time. So
yeah, but they're not taking in consideration the fact that the owners aren't making the money they would make off of concessions or
right, but why
Ticket
is it the
sales.
player's problem? That's not the player, but
well, I mean,
No.
but that's part of their. I mean, that's part of how
they make their money.
they make their money to pay the
Totally.
players.
And their bottom line is that the players have no pull. They have nothing. The owners are completely in charge, and they will be in charge. And so the owners or the players don't have a fucking leg to stand on, even if they wanted it.
Well, they could buy a $200,000 leg to stand and still have $800,000 in the bank and be better than most. So
But if you signed a contract for 8 years
you're-
and like you knew that you were going to make a certain amount of money every year, and you signed that contract, then you have
don't
the right
ask
to
me.
buy a house.
Don't ask
that's-
me. I'm fortunate and happy.
Well, you know,
The 75% of pay.
I'm a fan of the game, and like honestly, if the high price players don't want to play and they just want to fill their team with farm guys, I'd watch baseball.
Me too.
Well, that's the same as NBA. The NBA players are saying they're 22 teams again.
Mhm.
I bet on 3 of them. I bet on the Pelicans, I bet on the Mavericks, and I bet on the Oklahoma City Thunder because of the bettings, right? The future odds. However, players that don't want to play in the NBA because they are afraid of their risk, like Damian Lillard, they don't have to play, and they're fine with it. And they
Everybody has risk though. Like everybody. What about the people with kids or the people with parents or the people with like everybody has risk. So I just feel like it would be the worst career move of a baseball player's life to say
Yeah,
that
but these Andrea, these people are essentially giving up $12 an hour. There's a difference between giving up $12 an hour and giving up $120,000 an hour.
they're on their way to the major leagues.
So Devo,
Yes.
He's sleeping.
Well, yeah.
you made a big deal out of Mo Vaughn when I talked to you. Poor kid.
Yes. I made a lot of talk.
Yeah.
Well, Vaughn is the man.
Well, I know. But he called me before the draft, and he's like, "Are you there?" And he's like, "Oh man, I don't want you to take my guy." And then he's like, and then I was like, Mo Vaughn, and like I literally had to go back and look because I was like, "Geez, I forgot about that dude." But he was like one of the first guys to do the number 42 on the Sox and stuff like that.
Yep.
I love Mo Vaughn. Don't get me wrong.
He's a Devo.
So
It's hard
you
to
have
find
players
players
that you-
weren't
No,
Devos.
neither.
So what's a Devo? Like if you own this guy and you like him,
That's his team name.
okay, right. So you really like drafting a lot of the players on the same A lot of the
But
same
the-
players.
But the MVP players, right, Devo?
Yes.
The MVP guys that year.
After playing this for 36 years, I've owned almost everybody.
Okay. So, but who gets the
More
title
so
of,
than Richard?
where's
Well, that's what's
Richard?
funny. And Andre, that's what's funny is Richard and I are trading sluts. That's what they call us. Okay.
Yep.
No, Richard's a
What?
trading slut. You're a hoe.
Okay.
However, that's what's funny. When I called Richard and congratulated him, I said, Richard, it's amazing when we don't have the ability to trade and we go with our gut, how good we actually do. Go figure.
Where's Richard?
Richard's in Reno at
Reno.
Pepperville with his wife.
This guy won the league.
Yeah, but he
Right?
doesn't own a
He don't-
smartphone.
He doesn't have a smartphone, and he probably don't know how to get onto Zoom.
And he's at the bar right now because that's where we saw him on the way back from Colorado. We met him at Pepperville with his wife, and he was at the bar. He said, I'm either going to be at the bar or at the table. He was at the bar, and we saw him there, and it was awesome.
Okay, let's all make a cheers to Richard for winning the league.
Cheers to Richard.
Because I only
Cheers
have a
to
little bit
Richard.
of lemon drop left. And cheers to Richard for sure. Maybe the use of a smartphone and all that bullshit isn't that necessary.
It's
you know?
not. He didn't use any of that. Guarantee you. I was over here calculating fucking data as a behavior specialist all fucking week. And I didn't draft Blake Trainen. I drafted Curtis Granderson. Are you fucking kidding me?
At the time, he was the best batter on the board based upon my numbers.
Well, but I was trying to withhold you and Dave, Steve. That's why I drafted him. I was trying to withhold you and Dave from catching up with your 4 batters that you had.
Yeah.
That was my whole intention. Only
He had
you
the
and
most
Dave
acumen.
was my only concern.
Are you guys all on the West Coast?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're the only one on the East Coast.
Do you all live in the Bay Area?
Nope.
No,
they
no, I
live in
live in-
Sacramento.
I live
I
in
live in the
Sac.
Bay Area. I used to live, and I only lived here 8 years ago.
I know where you live, punk. You live in a beautiful place.
And
Nobody
you visited a
lives
beautiful
in-
place.
I mean, nobody lives in a more beautiful place than you.
Well,
well-
and here's the thing. I appreciate that, and it's something that I do not take for granted. Let me share with you that.
I know.
Everybody
but
that don't know me
Nick,
too well-
you and I both agree there's one place better.
Yosemite.
Wait till it blows up, dude. It's about to burst.
No, we're going to Yosemite on the 21st. We got our daily permit because they're only allowing 14,000 people in. And my wife's grandparents built a cabin in Groveland, which is right outside of the Yosemite entrance. We will be in Groveland the 19th, 20th, and on Sunday the 21st, we'll be in Yosemite. 21st.
What would happen if Yosemite volcano blew?
Then
There is
I
no
am
volcano in
okay
Yosemite.
with experiencing that because we went to Yellowstone, and Yellowstone is going to blow before Yosemite. That's for sure. Yellowstone is the one that's built on a volcano, not Yosemite.
I mean, if we wait our whole lives for some fucking volcano to blow up, dude, we got problem. You know, like
that's in 3 states. That's in Wyoming, essentially. Yellowstone, they're pretty set with their seismic activity. Yellowstone is going to bust.
I didn't even go to Northern California until I was like 20.
Well,
I was
come
only
back
Southern
again.
California. But
Andrea, fly out with my cousin from Baltimore. You and my cousin in Baltimore can fly out this summer. Come out. Please.
I come out all the time because my mother lives in Washington.
Well, stay in our studio. We have a whole 500 square feet, but we
I don't even
make it
care. I would
useful.
be fine with that. You know, I would just pass out and get up and do whatever. But
That's what's up.
okay, you guys. So what else are we going to talk about? GOAT. I'm going to be ready to go watch news or
Well, I've
go to
been
bed.
looking at what I'm going to do next. And there are a couple ideas, and I think it's either going to be a decade of the last decade or last year.
So you want to narrow down the time frame for the players.
Well, yeah,
Let's do the
I don't
last
want to
decade.
do a go to goats yet.
Let's do the
all-time
last
GOAT.
decade and let's start this Saturday.
No,
Woo!
What
Go
about
ahead.
GOAT
Go
based
ahead,
on
Nick.
career average?
You run it, Nick. You run it, Nick. You build the report. You deal with all the political
I wouldn't
stuff.
do a report. I would say, figure it out on your own time, and let's truly see who knows their shit.
Oh, okay. Don't
My
include
God.
me.
Yeah, that'll work.
No, the next GOAT, I've also got ideas of doing just the San Francisco Giants, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees. Rob has said he wants the St. Louis Cardinals, which has a plethora of great players to pull from.
I'm going to take Albert Pujols and Jeff Kent
No.
I'll
and
take
Pedro
Stan Musial.
Martinez and Derek Jeter.
What if you only get one team though? Who would get San Francisco?
This guy.
So
right
everybody
here.
pulls from San Francisco Giant players, or everybody pulls from the Boston Red Sox.
Ernie,
So
who would
are
you
you
have?
gonna pick Garcia
Oh.
Pera
Ernie would
ahead
have
of
the
Mo
A's.
Vaughn? You
The
know,
Cespedes.
I see what you mean.
just a franchise.
So any
And that
year?
that would pull in a lot of Boston fans.
So
I would
like
think.
for one, well, what's your goal here? Is your goal to get a bunch of people?
Yeah,
What's the
that's
goal?
why I'm putting it on the internet.
So you want this to like be the type of league that people should play in the future?
Yes,
I think it'd be interesting.
I'm
I think
building
it'd
it
be
for
great.
that.
Lenny, Andrea, get Lenny into it. Get people on XM across the United States.
I
Let them
think
know.
it's a
Log
lot
on
of
to the
fun,
site.
but
Let's
you
do
have to
it.
make. You need to do some stuff before this goes viral to protect yourself, to make sure that you actually get credit for this, because the guys that actually came up with fantasy baseball, they never got shit credit for what they did.
But
I know.
But we're not about credit. Devo, are you about credit per se, or
Well,
not
I
about
do
just
think he
time?
wants to be. Don't you want to be the guy that started this thing? I mean, that's
I
kind of
already
like.
am. I already am.
Bamboozle.
I am already one of the founders of fantasy baseball. Been interviewed by the Boston Globe and other places. You know.
Did you
it's
know
no big
that,
deal.
Andrea? Boston Globe. Put it in the book.
Fox News. Fox News came out one year, didn't it, Devo?
Well, I had all the TV stations interview me. Yeah, it's no big deal. I'm not looking to make it for money. I'm looking to make it for fun. And that's what it should be, fun.
Oh,
For sure, but like if you come up with something and it's your idea, then you should. I mean, you might
patent
be
it somehow.
you might be annoyed if somebody makes a bunch of money off of it and you came up with it and you know that you did.
No, not in my personality.
That's crazy, right? It's crazy. I'm
They're all
telling you,
living-
it's
you know.
crazy.
You guys know me well enough. Is that my
Yeah.
personality?
Andre, I'm the founding educator at my place that I work at. This is a new place. I created all this shit, all the platforms, essentially like what we introduced to parents. I created all this. I don't care. It don't. Somebody that came in is the senior person, and I'm like, I don't care, because you know what? I don't want to care. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm not gonna do much more than what I feel like I need to do. And I'm happy with that. Devo's the same way. It's like, look, the fact that this is out there for people to enjoy is enough of something. Granted, I got into real estate, so let me take that back a little bit based on me being able to help out people that actually make a financial living to live in the Bay Area. However, it's the same thing. It's just like, and it's the same with Lenny and same with you. The passion, the fact that you're giving everybody this information, you're giving them this information to use to benefit them. And that's what it's truly about. It's not about the money. And Lenny told me that. I was on the phone with Lenny in my back work area, cement area, with a calming shed for students that are dysregulated. Okay. And I was like, look, I would love to do this and be able to actually, make it some kind of income for me. And Lenny's like, dude, he's like, you can't make it about the income. It's all about passion, about love. So let's bring it back to that. And that's what we are all about, I feel like, in FBL. Passion of love.
I mean, Lenny started playing fantasy because it helped him at work because he got customers by having, I mean, he literally bought a racehorse just because he wanted business from somebody. He wanted to be like close to this guy. So like he understood the camaraderie that comes along with it.
Have
but
you seen the Ozarks? Remember when those people bought the TV show? Remember when they bought a racehorse?
I started watching Ozarks. It's a little scary. Like, kind
You
of
see that,
scary.
Ernie? Remember
Yes.
when they bought a racehorse?
Yep.
What happened to the racehorse?
Did it die? I watched Peaky Blinders.
That was good. That was a good program. I watched.
They had a racehorse too, you know.
Yeah,
So Ozarks, is that good?
It's great.
it's a good program.
Rob, what do you think of Ozarks?
I saw the first season. I think I'm the only person here that's been to the Ozarks.
Well, watch the second and third. You'll love it. It's really awesome.
I know.
keeps
I'm
going.
stuck at the first season too because it's a little bit, I don't know.
Best
Must
time of
be
year
the-
to go to the Ozarks is the fall because all the leaves turn red and orange, and
I would never
actually
go
really-
there.
It's actually really pretty. It's
There's
pretty
so
cool.
many fucking animal. There's just all kinds of things that could hurt you, dude, and they're nasty.
Badgers.
No, like sea serpents and shit, sea snakes and
serpents.
stuff, like alligators and mean ass things you do not want. And the
That's
humidity is
Florida.
no, thank
There
you.
you know, are there alligators in the Ozarks? I doubt it.
I don't know, but it's that kind of animal. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something mean,
Yeah. Trailer park.
just mean ass. It's the type of swamp that it is. It's like the forest, the rainforest. It's really
Jungle.
conducive to
Do
these
you
types
agree,
of.
Rob? You're the only person that's been there that I know. Do you agree with that?
It's not swamp. I mean, like I've been to Florida. Florida's a swamp.
Yeah, humid as shit. Too.
I don't mean, like-
I mean, like Missouri gets humid in the summer, but during the fall, it gets really cold.
What do you think kind of animals are swimming around in that type of climate?
Kind you want to eat.
You know, those.
It's a good fishing area. I mean, like it's a fishing area. I mean, you're gonna get water snakes anywhere. You get them here in Sacramento.
Along the
I'm
Delta.
sorry, you West Coast people
Absolutely.
get nothing. You have no idea. No, there's nothing over there. Whenever I lived on the West Coast, I had my door open most of the time and I had a cat, so I never had any problems. But
Where
we
did you
did
live
not-
on the West Coast, Andrea?
The-
What area?
I was born and raised on the West Coast.
Where though?
I was born in Fullerton in 1975, and I lived in Southern California till I was like 19, and then I
Yeah,
moved
Northern
north.
California is a different story. Southern California, Corona.
There's
Northern
no
California,
voices. There's no
not
bugs.
Corona.
Dude, there's bugs here that will be on the screen, and they have antennas, and they're black like big June bugs, but
Texas,
they're black.
you don't want Texas and Florida are where all the bugs are.
Yeah,
That's
you don't
it.
want to go to Texas or Florida.
But no,
I don't
like
wanna go to any of those places
you get
ever again in my life.
fireflies.
I'm on Long Island. We have some crazy looking beetles out here, and it's no joke.
No, you
Bernie,
get the
what are your
beetles there.
thoughts?
You get the beetles Midwest. I remember when I was a kid, I hit a beetle with a shovel, and that thing ran off like nothing happened.
Are you
Um,
kidding me? Oh my God.
No. Ernie, where you've traveled a lot of places, Ernie, where would you say would you love to be other than Northern California?
Grand Cayman.
Grand Cayman Islands.
Oh, that was
Well,
Yeah, because
awesome.
they got a
Lord.
lot of the bank accounts out there. I'm trying to move my
Well-
bank accounts to the Grand Caymans.
Well, it's such a
No.
small island, but they have so much stuff there. The
Ew.
food,
what? That
the
That's
food.
a beetle.
That's a beetle.
That's
the
a
food-
Japanese beetle.
Gross.
The food,
from
the food that you
Japan?
have over there in
Yeah.
the Grand Cayman. I mean,
Oh
you
my
can stop
God.
off. You can stop off the roads. There's only like 2 roads in the whole place, and they all intersect each other. The whole island is 23 miles long by 8 miles wide, and that's all there is. And the whole island is powered by coal. There's no the whole island's powered by coal. It's an
Ernie, when
amazing
Trump
place.
was elected, I invested in a coal company because I thought that was going to go up. That's what happened. Company got wiped out. I lost all my money.
Well, if you would have
What?
invested in Cayman's coal, you would have been okay.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, like, I wish I had.
And
That is
they still
awesome.
they still run coal. And Georgetown they made Georgetown the new capital of the Cayman Islands, and there's so much people in that area. I mean, and that's where all the cruise lines go to.
That's
It's
awesome. I
it's-
know.
You have
I
that
almost
bug.
invested in Carnival Cruise Line at like $14. Now they're at 23. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? You know,
Rob has a big bug. It's a big beetle. You have
Rob,
that
you've been to
thing.
Japan? Have you seen the Japanese cherry blossoms and stuff
Hold
when you've been
on.
out
This
there?
guy,
Oh yeah.
he has one in his house right now it's in a picture frame.
where
You have
where'd you
other
get that?
beetles too? I just want to know do you have other things that go along with that one picture?
No, there's 2 or 3 in a frame. I just bought the one.
You have any
Okay.
But there's
samurai
different kinds of
swords?
beetles, like ones with longer horns.
Oh, for sure. That
But
long
the one
horned
that
one
was
is.
in Illinois that I tried to kill, it was from what I remember, it was yellow.
We
And I
have
tell
green
you, I hit
ones.
that thing straight on with a shovel and it ran off like nothing
Oh
happened.
my God. Okay. Well, the whole beetle population is huge. There's so many different kinds of
Well,
beetles. Like,
they say that there's more insect mass on this planet than human mass.
Yep.
no
And we're
doubt.
destroying it all.
Right?
I don't know. Okay. But so those beetles, we used to have June bugs. We used to call them June bugs, but nobody ever worried about them biting you. They never stung you or bit you or anything. They were just like had the weird sound and like they were just big. But these ones here on Long Island, dude, you will find them on your screen with those big antennas. They're bigger than that dog, dude, that Ernie has in his hands.
I always
now.
got Long Island
These
confused
guys
with
are little
Staten
chihuahuas.
Island.
These guys are tiny ones.
Hey, Taco Bell.
Yep, pretty much. I got them when they were 2 pounds, and now they're 8 pounds a piece.
Aw.
Nick, don't you want pets? You need pets. You and your wife
Hell
are too
no.
good of
Look.
people to be going without kids and pets.
We live in a studio where we get a pet, but here's the thing. I don't want to be responsible for anything other than myself and my wife. I don't want that responsibility right
You
now.
guys would be such. Think of all the people. Just think of all the
How are we
youngsters.
going to travel to visit you on how are we going to visit you
Bring
on
your-
Long Island if we have
We
a
love
pet?
kids. We will
Huh?
have kids, dogs, whatever. Bring your dog, bring your kid, bring your
No, we
fish.
don't-
Board
we
your,
just
you
wanna
can board
bring
your dogs
us.
for $30 a day.
The two of you
wanna
are
bring us.
too. Excuse me. The two of you are too good of people to be wasting without rearing up somebody, because people are getting reared up by people that don't qualify to be bringing up kids.
Look,
Okay.
look,
think of
what I'm
it.
saying is this. What I'm saying is this. When we're no longer renting a studio, which we are perfectly happily doing now, and we could buy the piece of property and put a modular home on via a constructive to permanent loan, we're going to do that and we will probably get an animal. Right now, we're going to travel. We like to going to Sacramento to visit Devo.
Then you bring your dog with you, because
No.
everybody does in California anyway.
No,
okay?
because a dog is a dog is a dog. I want to focus on fantasy baseball.
You guys are just wasting such good people spirit. You're wasting it and
my
it's not
dog
that
looks
much
like
of
Devo's
work.
beard.
You do it naturally anyway. Both of
He's got a
you.
dog. He has a dog. Look at that.
It looks like Devo's beard.
Devo, where's your dog? You have a dog,
Devo has a
Devo?
dog.
What's your beard?
Andrea, do you have a dog?
Dude, I had.
Dude,
I-
what are you doing? You're just wasting.
I know.
Look, Devo, Ernie,
I had
and
2
Rob
guinea
all have
pigs.
dogs.
No.
I have
No,
4 of
no.
them. I got 4 of them.
Who does?
I do. Ernie's got 4.
Like that?
No, these two are only these 2 here that I got here are they're only what, 5 months old? Yeah, they're 5
Most
months
you
old.
California people,
Oh,
you love
sweet.
those little dogs, you know?
Yeah.
I say I love a big dog, like an old English sheepdog or a real bulldog.
There you
Or
go.
like a real Lenny Melnick dog.
He
Yeah.
looks just like a bulldog. He's just like a bulldog. You know how they say that your dog looks like you? He should have a bulldog. No doubt. But I can't help it. My best friend has a bulldog and I just love this dog more than anything. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you could.
I love everybody's animals. I love Ernie's animals. I love Rob's animals, and I love
Yes, I
Steve
know.
animals, and I
Do
love
you just-
I love everybody's animals, but I don't want the responsibility personally right now in my
You guys are
state of
lying
life.
to yourselves. You and your wife Elizabeth are lying to yourselves. You guys
No.
don't. Well, maybe you're not. That's such a rude thing to say. I didn't.
I personally am too much into like finances and numbers.
Yes, but
I can't see myself taking off certain numbers in terms of future for a pet right now, but later, absolutely, and maybe a human being. We shall
Totally.
see.
okay. I agree that your place is really small for another living being. Okay, but the two of you would be great for raising kids. Like we need more parents like the two of you. I'm sure.
Well, it is what it is. And Devo was a great parent, and Ernie was a great parent. And I'm not sure if Rob has any children at all. I'm not too sure. And I know you were a great parent based on all the information you're providing about just your son's accomplishments. Like you and Lenny are also great parents. So just so
How-
you know.
I'm a
How old are you?
stepmom.
Andrea, how old are your kids?
I don't have any kids of my own. I just
You-
have Lenny's kid, who's
Lenny's kid?
21.
Okay, mine's are
Who's
30,
going to college to be a teacher?
37 and 33. My kids are.
So
Rob,
I
do
mean,
you have kids?
Julian? How is
Julian,
Julian?
no. Julian has no kids. My daughter's gonna have a kid though.
is it
Here,
going to be your first grandkid? How many
First
grandkids?
grandkid.
How is Julian, by the way?
He's doing good. He works for Smart and Final now. He works for Smart and
I
Final.
remember it.
Yeah, he lives in Dixon, and he works out of the San Rafael store. But they promoted him. He's get a promotion to a trainer that he had before, the job he had before. So now he's doing half and half training and working at San Rafael store.
Well, I remember he was at the appliance store in Rancho Cordova.
Right. That's it. He was working there for a while. Yeah, he was. That's what.
Because I went in there after my and I was like, holy crap.
That guy's gone.
a long time ago.
That store's gone now.
Oh yeah, it's a auto parts store now.
Yeah.
Andrea, you watching the new King of Staten Island movie?
Does it have that one guy from Saturday Night Live in
Yeah.
it? Yes, I want to see it so bad. I think it's wonderful. I can't wait to see it. Do you know a couple guys from our site, Bobby and his nephew, Paulie Boy, they've grown up on Staten Island. They're born and raised there. And you know, me being from the West Coast and I'm living on Long Island, but the girls here have a distinct accent. You could tell them from anybody. Like, I mean, just you could probably hear it in your mind right now what it sounds like, a Long Island accent
See the
for a
little girl?
lady in Staten Island. Like you can just
See that little girl?
anyway, they both grew up there. I can't wait to see the movie. Did you see it? Is it out or what?
No, I haven't seen it, but what's awesome is that the one time I visited my half sister, who I'm no longer connected with, because my dad is a piece of
Divorced?
shit,
Okay.
and I wanted her to come out to my wedding. This is the first time I'm exposing any of this to anybody, and my biological father convinced her not to come out, even though I wanted her to be a part of our wedding, and I hate that piece of shit. So he cheated on my mom. So fuck that guy. Pretty
So
much.
now you have Bobby and Paulie Boy for a connection if you want to come to Staten Island.
Absolutely, because I stayed on Staten Island with my sister. When I went to go visit her, that was my only main intent. And we went from Staten Island to the bus ride, to the Staten Island ferry, to the boat to get us to right there at the drop off next to the financial district, essentially, which is where it drops you off at. I did that every day, and I got to see David Letterman before he retired, even though previously somebody in New York swiped the tickets from my sister's backpack. And so I had to do what I could to get back to the David Letterman show. And with that, it was an amazing experience because I got to bring my California hustle mentality understanding and say, look, this isn't going to stop me. I'm going to see Letterman. And we got to see some awesome individuals on the show and after the show too, which is really cool. I
So
love
there's no tacos here, by the way, everybody from the West
But
Coast.
especially gluten-free tacos with cassava flour,
You will never find
tortillas,
those.
guaranteed.
You will never find those. I'm talking about normal taco sauce from the California tacos with the red orange. It's like almost orangish red taco sauce. It comes in a little plastic container with a lid, and you get it with your. You can order extra red sauce. It's at every taco place in
You mean
California.
salsa?
It's not salsa though. It's taco sauce. Like it has no chunks. It's completely liquid.
Just need sriracha.
Yeah, it means diarrhea.
No, it's not sriracha. It's like it's California drive-through taco
Ernie.
sauce. It's like Alberto's.
Alberto's.
Ernie killed me with the Magli Ordonez pick. I was counting on that one.
Oh
what?
man,
Oh,
that
you
was
What
were?
are
a
you trying to
great
get out of
pick.
it?
That was a great pick.
I didn't know he was gone. I think I actually sent it out. Didn't he was one of the dudes I sent out that was already gone. That shows
Yeah.
you where I was at.
He was on my list for like weeks. And that's the problem. I think we have guys on our list for weeks. And with a snake draft, somebody gets them and you're like, okay. And you cross them out. You're like, damn it.
I wasn't
Great.
crossing anything out.
I crossed so much out. I had to shred so many papers. My wife's like, why do you want to shred them? There's no confidential information. I said, just because I want them out of here.
She's
Is
lucky.
that how
Tell
you
her.
express your anger?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a
Lenny
beautiful
won't
thing.
let
Leave me
go of any
alone.
of
Can't
those.
you see I'm shredding?
There's a little bit of I could see that. I could see
Leave
getting
Nick
out some-
alone. He's shredding right now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I bumped it on a cabinet.
And
What else do I'm gonna give everybody time to say one more thing about the GOAT League. For sure, Steve, go first, and you can also go last too if you think of anything along the way, because it's really your idea and I thought it was so much fun. I think it would be as fun even if baseball was coming. Like I would recommend like doing it in the off season, that would be awesome. But I had a great time. I don't think that it was just because of COVID that I had fun doing that draft. Like I got real adrenaline and like anxiety over it. So that's kind of like what I find going forward.
Well, I built it for fun, and I knew that we were going to have enough time to spread it out, to enjoy, to do the analysis. I knew a bunch of these guys are research freaks, and some of them aren't. I knew that going in.
How much research do you think was done in the middle of the picks? You think there was a lot of people doing
On the Saturday or before?
just like in between during the weekday, during the days that we weren't drafting?
Nick was going crazy. I know that he was
Yes.
because he was calling me yak, yak, yak. Ernie and I had a dialogue where we would play mind games back and forth with each other, throwing names out. It
That was
was
fun.
intended to be fun. It was fun for me. I thought that the reports and the makeup of how everything came about was a very positive experience. I look forward to doing it again.
So you're gonna do it the same. You feel like you will do it exactly the same because you.
No,
What would you change?
it's going to be automated.
All week or only one day?
Well, it would be just
That
putting
is
in.
going to be negotiated with those competitors that have signed up to go against that challenge.
And Devo, what I will say is this: so many people have respect for you that people will go along with what you say. So as long as you put, regardless of what the fuck I think, what do you think? I think that'd be the best way to vote on that.
Well, you know that I gather everybody's opinions and I do what's best interest of the league or the challenge. It's how I've
Absolutely.
always operated, fairness for all.
Okay, Ernie or Rob, would you guys make any changes, or what do you think?
Well, I think I would have because I remember a few years back, Devo, when we did a thing called stat sheet baseball,
Score sheet.
score sheet.
Score sheet.
Is that something you guys are familiar with then?
Yeah,
I
it's
played
head to
it. I
head.
won it.
I'm
I beat
learning
Larry
this year.
Atkinson one winner. I have the
Okay.
trophy.
I didn't get it.
Well, defense matters and shit in this game score sheet. Defense
Well,
and
see, that's a
OPS.
simulation game, which isn't. I'm gonna have to plug my phone in.
Score
that's
sheet
a
and
simulation
lineups
game
are
That
important.
is entirely a different concept.
Right.
GOAT is build a team knowing the numbers going in.
I
Okay.
love it.
Totally agree. I think it's great. Ernie?
Well, I like the idea of different parameters on a, change it up like every time if we continue this, hopefully he'll
Like a
continue this
different
and
theme.
different things, different take like the 50s, 60s and 70s or 80s,
Decade,
90s and
years,
2000s. Different
teams.
parameters and shrink down the player pool.
Yeah.
That would be more competitive. It'd be tougher. It'd be a lot tougher.
I loved the
Andrea?
player pool being so big. I loved it. I was
You like
like,
that?
dude, yes, because I mean, there's like no bad players really. And
Yeah.
No, it's all, everybody got all-stars. Pretty much.
I
So
liked
it-
the player pool
Like you
being
can almost
huge.
do another draft with the players that are still out there.
I was
No
thinking
doubt
true.
about it.
That's very true.
I was thinking of doing that.
That actually would be a little bit more fun, just because like you know who's already gone, but there's still
We could
Well,
add to our teams and be like
45 years of
dynasty. We
talent.
could add, we could just add players to the teams that we have
Oh
now.
yeah. Make it a 40 team, and add 15 more players.
Because
Yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
rather
my
start it
team
over
has
on that.
hope. Dude, there's hope involved in my team. I'm not giving up on it yet. I don't
Yeah.
think that my 7th place team should be thrown in the garbage. I feel good about it. I feel like if I had a
I
few
know.
more picks, I could
Yeah.
probably win the league.
Right? Joe Figgins is the man.
He was right for that specific thing that I needed, which was
Just
runs.
screw this guy over.
I'm sorry, dude. It was the only place I could make up for points.
I love
Well,
it.
instead we can do one instead of calling it the goat, you can call it the not so goat.
Goat
And then
two.
after that
Have the
one, you can do
worst
the bottom of
team.
the barrel goat.
Larry Yount.
No, I loved it, guys. I loved it. I think that if we keep switching it up, I think it's awesome. I think that overall we learned a lot from this initial. I think that my one vice was searching
Not
so
punting.
much and seeing guys that were pre-1984 with amazing stats.
Ricky Henderson.
If we can go with pre-1984, that will be really interesting. Nobody beyond 1983 season, essentially.
We should be able to get Babe Ruth on our team and stuff,
right?
That's the goat of
Absolutely. Jackie Robinson.
or like Ted
Absolutely.
Williams
Well, no,
or
you can do- I
Ty
think
Cobb.
if you do, I think like you said, if you do decades, you do 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
I think
You
that's
only
great.
get 1 year though, so it doesn't matter about Mickey Mantle. Like nobody that played for a long time, it doesn't matter about that. It only matters if you had one good season like Joe Mauer.
Yep. And
There
if
you go.
Richard was on here, it'd say, wait. Joe Mauer is a legend to
Are you
Minnesota.
kidding me? It was one of the first things I learned when I was in fantasy that I was bound and determined to get Mauer, but mostly Mauer at that time. It was 2009. Everybody told me don't draft a catcher so early. I said, but he's so much better than every other catcher. That's my strategy. I'm taking Joe Mauer. He's got the best batting average in town. And he always did have the best batting average in town. but
Andre, nobody knows that I traded for Trevor Bauer instead of Mike Clevenger because
that's your
you
own
were
fault.
all about him. So
I would have never told
I
you.
love your insight, but I am going to clearly think twice.
Hold on a minute. I never told you to do that. In
No,
fact,
you touted Trevor Bauer.
if it wasn't
all
for
year.
Bauer, dude, Clevenger would be jack shit.
No, but Bauer was decent in that 1 year, and then he got traded to the Reds, and he was shit.
Bauer sucks. I mean, I'm giving him one last chance and then I'm done with him. I swear to God. One person told me like he will
Once a
like-
cheater, always a cheater.
He is not a cheater though. He's the one and only, like he's one of the only
He
people.
cheats fantasy baseball owners.
He, like, for a guy that has never had an ERA under 4, you
But he
know,
wants to play for the Dodgers. You heard that, right?
I know that he would love to play for Houston. I don't think he
No,
would now.
no. He said that if he could, he's only signing
Houston's
1
going
year
to win the World
contracts.
Series this
1
year.
year.
He's only signing 1 year contracts
Yes.
from here on out, and he would love to sign with his home team Dodgers.
He doesn't give a shit who he signs with as long as they pay him.
Yeah, even 75% is beautiful.
If he's pitching well, that's fine and dandy. But until he starts pitching well, dude, that's a
But
bunch
that's
of
what I'm
bullshit.
saying. How many people perform to their salaries? A small
Look, you.
percentage.
I'm sorry, but Bauer is getting on my nerves because if you're gonna talk that much shit, you better be able to pitch well. And
My elbows, I got MRI. They said it looks good. Then why, when I throw hard, my arm goes numb and my fingers do too?
because your arm is not built to throw
Because you're
that
eating
hard.
those edibles.
Yeah, I smoke.
Yeah, that's probably it.
It has nothing
It's
to do
worth
with
it to keep
attendance.
eating them though.
Enjoying it less.
No doubt. All right, dude. It looks like a Laker jersey that you have on.
This?
It's a big yellow thing. No.
Oh, Devo?
Yeah, because I can't see the A's
Oakland
right
A's.
now.
A's. Boom.
That help.
I'm sorry, but everybody thinks that the A's ballpark is horrible, okay?
It is.
But-
It's the shittiest ballpark in
No,
the
it's
league.
not.
That's not true,
It is
though.
not.
It's a good field.
I'm
It's a
sorry,
good-
it's
it's a
not.
really good
Foul
field.
area.
Yeah, but the
Just
bullpens
old.
get flooded with diarrhea.
You're acting like Ozzie Guillen right now, talking shit on the Cubbies ballpark, dude, with the rats
How
and shit.
many
Like
of you
acting
have
like
gone-
Cubbies invest in
Yeah,
their
sorry
ballpark.
it doesn't
Oakland
have a
has
wonderful
not.
view of the bay.
the Bay sucks because
A romantic
Let me tell
romantic
you-
right field to take your date after
I
coffee
love
at
going to
Starbucks.
A's
Sushi.
games. I
And
love going to
sushi.
A's games,
You're
regardless.
eating
It doesn't
sushi
matter.
at that place, okay? Sushi. And you can't park there or get tickets. I'm sorry.
I'm not
Oakland-
eating sushi. I'm eating
Oh
gluten-free
no,
hot
no.
dogs.
The yacht will drop us
really?
off at the yacht will drop us off at McCovey Cove.
I'm so sure. I
Hold
paid
on a minute.
$35 to go see a Giants game in the parking lot, and I pay $50 to go see a Warriors game in the same parking lot.
May I ask a question? Is there gluten-free hot dogs at the same? Because I hear they have some great
Yes.
food. In fact,
Yep.
I've
All
heard
hot
that
dogs are gluten free until you put a bun on them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
For
Giants have gluten-free hot dogs.
every hot dog is gluten-free until you put it in a bun.
Yeah, unless they
Right.
have gluten in
That's
the
what she
mix.
said.
Do they? I know you have to pay. This is not a joke for you. I know that you have to pay close attention. So, but they say that San Francisco has the best food. They have sushi. They have health options. They have things that you don't find at normal ballpark. But I'm just sticking up for Oakland in the sense that they had a whole parking lot full of food trucks. Okay.
Yeah, with
And-
zero
Oakland
has the
license
best
to smell
barbecue.
their food.
Oakland has the
parking-
best barbecue places.
I'm telling you, dude, it's about how much is it going to cost me to park in this place? How much is it going to cost me to
In
spend the
Oakland,
night?
it costs you zero when you park at the bar right across the street from the walkway to get to the stadium.
And there's a bar there.
And there's a bar, and there's
it's a
everybody
ghetto.
saying
Isn't it ghetto?
churros,
No,
hot
it's
dogs.
not ghetto.
get
It's
it.
actually
It's good.
it's a
In
Oh.
Oakland or San Francisco?
Oakland
no, it's a
and San
it's
Francisco.
You
not
can't
a
even
biker
get in San
bar.
Francisco unless you have $1 billion, dude.
We get tickets like 15 minutes before the game at amazing prices for field level.
Very true, but
no. There's a bar across from Oakland Stadium. It's actually we go there before Raider games. It's a blast. It's
What's it called, Rob?
I can't remember, dude. I just know where it is. It's
Because it's
literally
not
like
open
across the
anymore. I don't
street
think
from
that
the-
one's open anymore because we went there before Raider and Niner game too,
Uh-huh.
and they closed down. I think a couple years back.
where's the Oakland?
Well, I
where's
thought it was like a
Oakland Stadium is Oakland A's Stadium.
Oakland Oco is
Oakland Raiders,
Raiders?
is Oakland A's.
same ballpark,
Yeah.
same
Yes.
place. Oh,
hmm.
whatever it is, I went there after the Raiders weren't even a part of it. I just thought that it was not a bad place. Everybody
No, it's
talks
not.
shit about it.
It's not, but compared to other stadiums,
But that's because Oakland is so old. It's an old stadium, but
Definitely.
it's still a nice, it's still a
Well,
nice one.
it's-
still a
It
nice
depends
stadium.
on what you're looking for, really.
It's not yeah, it's not, you're not gonna send Christmas cards from Oakland Stadium or anything like that.
But you can enjoy baseball games.
Or
no
get a
doubt.
get
Yes,
a crushed
because it's
penny.
reasonably
You're not
priced.
gonna get a crushed penny from a but yeah.
Crushed penny.
Steve,
But it's
Like,
hard to
you have a
compare. And
rotating
it's, you know,
camera.
honestly though, it's hard because like the Giant Stadium
you're a fan of
set
St.
a
Louis.
standard that literally even Pittsburgh's trying to copy that
Like
you just
what?
can't. I mean, Giant Stadium is definitely 1 in a million, and you're not going to. It is a great stadium. Like I'll pay money to go to Giant Stadium.
For
It's
sure.
a wonderful stadium.
And it has the
I,
bay
I,
right
I
there.
like
of
I like
course.
Giant Stadium too. I like that.
You got
yeah.
stadiums like Wrigley that are, you know, like I like going to Wrigley, even though like their bathrooms are horrible.
It's the history, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you know,
but
there's,
dude,
like like Fenway. I don't really care for that.
Sorry, Andrea.
Well, I know.
only
I
been
mean, it's
there
just
once.
it is what it is, though. But it's just one of those things. Like it
You
I want to
had
go to
be
Fenway,
in
though,
the-
and I
Fenway-
want to sit on the
Fenway's a-
big green
Fenway's
wall.
You had to be in the right frame of
legend.
mind
It's a legend
Right.
park.
to go anywhere.
well,
I
there's
probably
some-
won't ever go there again because it's not that. It's always packed. It's always sold out. It's
Right.
always like I think that I would rather go to Oakland, but what I enjoy is that I like elbow room. I like to not be charged $50 to park my car. I like to be able to get decent tickets for a reasonable amount of money and buy, like a hot dog and a beer for $20. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I love Yankee Stadium though. Like I got to see Derek Jeter's last season at Yankee Stadium against the
I've never been there.
against Toronto. You've never been there?
no.
It is awesome.
Where?
They got a little league field in front of it. It's just like this
Where?
magnificent
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium, the
It's
new
like
one.
$25 for a
I've
fucking
been
beer.
there.
Anybody
awesome.
anybody go to spring training? We've been going
Yes.
every year. We've been
Where?
going every year.
I go to
My wife and I.
Scottsdale. I love
Yeah.
Scottsdale.
I go to Phoenix and we go to all the different ballparks.
Yeah.
And then this past year before this COVID, we got to see one game and we came back because they started closing everything down.
Andrea and
Yeah.
Lenny were probably there.
Yeah,
We were in
probably, huh?
Florida this year, actually. We normally are in Arizona for spring training, but we were in Florida. They changed it this year, and
How'd you
think-
like Florida versus Arizona?
I just I didn't go to a lot of. I mean, I think that I love Arizona because it's got all the ballparks really in close vicinity, so you can leave one ballpark and go to any other game you want. Like
Yeah,
within 20
you can
minutes. you
literally
can-
see 3 games in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And in Florida, it rains a lot more, so their chances of not getting to see games is pretty big. And
Yeah.
I didn't see a
Oh.
lot of games there because I mean, COVID was going on when we were down there, and the same thing. I just was like, let's go home. Let's get. Little did we know we were going to like the most COVID-ridden place that you could possibly go to in the whole world. So
Allegedly.
We got rained
And
out.
how the hell did Lindsey Graham get voted back in again?
We got believe it or not, we got rained out 2 years in a row in Arizona. I mean, that doesn't happen
What?
very often. Yeah, we
spring
got
rain.
training is so expensive there now. Like
When
you
I
They're
was
can't
there,
even-
they're
they
so
had the dust
expensive.
storm.
Yeah.
They had that big dust
Yeah,
storm roll in when I was
And I was
there.
a stat girl.
I
we
love to
stayed-
go
Yeah, full of testing.
Go ahead.
Arizona Fall League in November. That's really the best time to go to games because you could go to sit in any seat you want and it never costs any money for parking, and you could actually like talk to players because they're still really humble. And the spring training, it's gotten to the point where games are as expensive as they would be.
Oh my
like
gosh.
at that new Sloan Park to go see the Cubbies, it's
Well,
35 $40 to see a spring
Well,
training game, and I'm
It's
like,
expensive now.
you know
yeah.
what, I'll
That's
fly
ex-
there
yeah,
just to watch
I
it
could
on
not
TV.
believe that. I cannot believe the price for Cubs and Giants. It was
Mhm.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I remember him. It was
I
very
love the
common.
scoreboards though. I love to be able to see the velocity of the baseball. Like I love to be able to see how fast it's going. I can see what type of pitch that they're throwing because of that. And the Cubbies, they build this $30 million, billion, $1 trillion brand new stadium. They threatened to go to Florida if they wouldn't build them a new park. And they bring this scoreboard over that like you can't even see it.
That's terrible.
It's the most important part of a baseball park is to have a scoreboard that you could actually like read and shit.
No, and Giants have Journey. Don't stop believing every game. It's a beautiful thing.
That's your song, dude.
Not that when I lived in Colorado and I went out to the bars, Don't Stop Believing was a song that gave me anxiety, and I would have to leave at that point and say, the hell with this, just so you guys know.
So I assume you've never been to a Journey concert, dude.
Yeah, that's where we
Never.
start singing separate ways at this point.
Oh my God.
All right, you guys, I'm out. So I
All
see
right.
Steve. I see
Yeah.
your ceiling, Steve.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
I
We
put
could
the
all
phone
see
down.
Steve Sealing. Steve,
All right,
reach
guys.
it.
I hope that
You
I'll
guys-
be invited back to the Goat League.
Well, Andrea, would you ever be interested in being a part of FBL?
So, I mean, I would have, yes, of course, I would be interested in doing it, but I would have to make sure that I understood the rules really good and that I wouldn't like let the rest of the league down
Well,
because
the rules are kind of bleak.
Oh, thank you, Rob.
like how much of a commitment does it take to be in it? And how
Every
much-
Sunday you make your picks by
when you
5
read the
PM,
rules, you have to
otherwise
have a
you're done.
notary present.
Gotcha. So it is a little complicated then.
You got
No.
you got initial
No.
next to every
No.
FBA.
After
Rob-
the first
Rob
year,
would
after
be
the first
funny.
year, you get it
Well,
down
just
pretty
know
fast.
that every single one of those things you have to initial next to is brought on because of a bad situation and that created the rule itself. So now we have to agree to every like they learned the hard way, right?
Yeah,
That's why
it's-
those
Yeah,
rules are
36 years of doing this.
It's
I've
written in
had to
Devo's
build this
beard.
thing for all these different parameters, and
Is this a dynasty
people
league?
change the rules
Yeah.
at different
It's a keeper.
times, and
15
I've had to
keepers.
15.
$35 salary cap.
So you draft usually when you draft it's 10 players auction, but it's a salary cap.
So I would have to then take over a team that there's a reason why the person left in the first
Well,
place
there-
because
Not necessarily. The first
No,
place
we're-
team left
Yeah,
because
there's a
of
lot
their
of talent out
political
there.
views, and we didn't want anything of it.
we
bring
should
that
love
into
each
fantasy
other. We are
baseball.
American citizens. All of us. We are Americans above anything.
But don't bring it into fantasy baseball. Do you know what I
Just-
mean? It's fantasy for a reason.
I don't think that any of us should ever not be friends because we see things differently.
No, you're right about that. None of us should never be friends because we see things differently.
No,
but when those
we
things
have
are
a different
crossover,
perspective.
We're allowed
have
to,
to
though. Isn't that what
identify
makes
it.
this country beautiful? That we're allowed to have different perspectives.
it's beautiful that you could be friends with those people that have your perspectives if you want to bring them in a fantasy. Otherwise, go be friends with them and see you later.
I'm pretty sure that my political views are different than a lot of people, but I will.
But Andrea,
absolutely-
you present those in a respectful way regardless, and you know when to
We're
shift.
getting there. Everybody's getting off.
You know when to shift. Some people don't know when to shift and they just stay on the trajectory. And it's like, look, we're trying our best to be respectful and saying, let's just shift the trajectory. You get those trajectories, and that's what it's all about. And that's why all of us are able to coincide and be competitive in nature with this fantasy baseball league at this point.
Yeah, just
America rules.
just have Devo send you a copy of the rules. You'll see what it's pretty cool. After the first year, you'll be fine. You'll be
Devo,
fine after the first year.
yes, dear.
it's time to shave your beard. It's Christmas time is not for a while. You are too hot right now in that.
No, I'm gonna go jump in the pool when I'm done.
You can't always be in the pool all
Got
the
a
time.
pool.
Oh yeah, I'm
in
gonna be in the
Sacramento,
pool
he
all day
can.
long.
He's gonna go
I'm
jump in the
retired.
pool.
How long have you been growing the beard?
His whole life.
This is about 16 months. I didn't.
Devo recently retired.
All
3
the
years
cool
ago.
kids are doing it.
Whatever it is, if you like it, then by all means. I
used to have it,
if you're ever
down to
sitting there and
here.
you're like, this
It
is
used to
fucking so
hang
hot,
really
I'm
low.
dying over here that I can't get any, like my face feels so hot, I don't know what to do. Just be like, Oh, maybe I'll cut off that,
I'll
and then
just do this.
you'll
Just do
have like a
this.
whole new ray of
I love it. I
sunshine.
love Devo's beard. Keep it going, brother.
Trying to pull in those Harry Potter chicks.
Whatever
you
works
go.
for you,
I
dude.
know. Transsexuals are not women. J.K. Rowling.
I love your speakers, Rob. Nice to meet you, Ernie. Nice to meet you, and
Nice to meet you
we have
too.
Nice to meet you,
Ernesto here
Andrea.
too. We have
No, that's
Ernie,
me.
and I know
No,
we have
Ernesto.
Ernie.
Ernesto's Ernie.
Don't you ever want to change personality though, and be like, because Ernie's different than Ernesto, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why my email is Mexican Mafia 55.
I saw that.
Bamboozle, Mexican Mafia. Get it.
Weren't you named a bitch or something? You were named.
Sorry
something cool.
about that. Long Island, Italiano. It's the Mexican Mafia in this piece.
Please, with your Italiano. What about your wife? Isn't she the one that came up with the names? Did you say it was your wife that named your team?
Who's that?
No.
No,
You.
I think she named your team for the Buttheads for
Oh, yeah.
Go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right.
I thought she named it the Mexican Mafia. You can't.
That's just my email. That's just my email. I was thinking about name, and then when that one came up, and that one, the Butthead stuck.
And
Whatever.
Devo, his name is Steve Franklin. I never call this guy Steve. This guy is Devo.
Yeah.
Devo the music band. That's what I think of. The
No.
80s music band.
No,
Sorry, Devo.
it's
I
the
won't do that ever
attitude.
again.
It's
Okay,
the
I see
attitude.
okay. I got you. dude.
Stands for devoted evolutional vocational orator.
Bamboozle. And Rob's name is the Iron Monkeys.
St. Louis fan.
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me like a monkey.
St. Louis has Ballpark Village.
Yeah, I haven't been to the new stadium. I think that's something I want to have to do pretty
They're
soon.
going overboard.
It's
huh?
in a weird place because my friend said don't go over to that arch because
Yeah,
that's where the
that's
casino
ridiculous.
is. That's you don't want to go. That's on the other side of the arch, and if you're on the other side of the arch, you're in deep shit. You
You
don't
can
go
make
there.
that money
Ah,
and go
shit.
watch a game.
I've been to the other side of the arch, driving
Yeah,
the
East St.
freaking.
Louis, not.
But you
Oh,
don't want to
Andrea?
be down there.
Hey,
Oak Park.
try driving
Come
a
on.
white Oldsmobile 98 that used to belong to my aunt after she passed, and I drove over to East St. Louis, tripping on acid. And yeah,
Not a
like
good
all
place.
these people were walking up to my car. I had
Were they
no
asking
idea
for
what was
money
going
or
on.
what were they doing?
No, they wanted to buy the car.
No, there are
Oh.
hookers and shit. Like
Oh.
East St. Louis is gnarly. You don't want to go. You don't want to go over
On
that
parts
bridge
of
in East
the
St. Louis.
but in only parts of the town, because like the other parts of the town are the elite type things. It's kind of like San Francisco, where in 1 minute you're walking down the street and all these homeless people are everywhere, and then the next minute you're in like
Ah, shit.
And even on
Uh,
the street where homeless people are, they're amazingly upscale. Like
San Francisco
clubs
spends
and
like
everything.
$500,000 a month, dude.
Well, it's like
Picking
Half
up
Moon
poop.
Bay. You go down the street in Half Moon Bay, and there's like the barrio down the street, and there's like this lot for sale of land. It's like you have people coming in here paying exorbitant amounts for this land, putting exorbitant amounts in a home, and they don't realize the street they're living on. It's like, are you kidding me?
Well, do you ever have to ride the train?
The only time I rode the train was like, I think, to wine country.
So you were drunk. So it doesn't really matter. But what about the people that have to ride the train every day to go to work in San Francisco?
Better than riding the bus. Boom, boom.
I don't know, dude. Did you see this? It's not cute what's going on there. It's the trains.
The only time I rode a train was when I was in New York. And I thought we were taking the cheap route, but instead we ended up in Grand Central to get to New York to the stadium. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. Look at the clock. That's what I see in all the movies.
Yes, for sure. Grand Central Station or Penn Station. Both of them are it's crazy going there. I mean, I feel like I'm in the fucking episode of Law and Order, dude, every time I go there to the train. I feel like the door is going to shut or someone's going to come.
Which Law and Order, Andrea? Which Law and Order?
The New York one, dude. Any one of them. All of them happen in the subway. When you
Okay,
get out
I'm
at
headed
Penn-
for the pool.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Good
I love
night.
your
With the
purple
Nixon.
walls.
Peace.
It's
He's
blue.
like a Laker. Yeah, with your shirt and your walls, you're definitely Kobe Bryant fan.
We
or
have
some Jerry West.
a moon now.
I see that.
You see the moon in the tree? That is the moon that we have, or our bed. And then we have the Golden Gate in our living room. This is our
Where's
whole
your beautiful
studio.
woman?
She's in the bathroom talking to her mom because that's the only other room we have that's
That's
separated.
so cute. I love it. Okay.
Guys, have a good night.
Thank
All
you
right,
for coming
Rob.
on, Ernie. See you next
See you.
year.
See you
Ernie,
guys. See you guys
Andrea.
another day.
Andrea.
Awesome,
Good
guys.
night.
You guys